Life doesn't come with a manual, but there are certain lessons that, once understood, can change everything. Imagine waking up every day feeling clearer, stronger, and more in control of your life. That's exactly what happens when you learn and apply these 20 powerful life lessons. They're not complicated ideas or distant goals. They're simple, practical steps that anyone can take right now to improve their daily experience and shape a better future. These lessons touch on everything from how you handle challenges to the habits that build real growth, the way you connect with others, and how you take care of yourself. They're about real people doing real things to get real results. As you listen, you'll discover ways to break free from old patterns, build new strengths, and move forward with purpose and confidence. Stay with this, and you'll find practical advice that you can start using immediately, plus a fresh way of thinking that makes tough days easier and good days even better. These aren't just tips, they're tools for living your life fully and without regret. Let's dive in and explore these lessons that can improve your life forever. Chapter 1. Take responsibility for everything that happens in your life. There is a moment in every person's life when something painful happens, something unfair, something unexpected. The natural instinct is to point outward. We blame the system, our upbringing, our boss, our parents, the economy, bad timing, or plain luck. This instinct is human, but it is also the exact reason most people stay stuck. They stay trapped in cycles. They claim they didn't choose, but unconsciously feed with every excuse, every blame, every refusal to take ownership. If you truly want to improve your life, not just temporarily but permanently, you must choose to take responsibility for everything that happens in your life. Not just the parts that feel comfortable, not just the moments when things go well. Everything. That's where your real power begins. Taking responsibility doesn't mean everything is your fault. It means you recognize that everything in your life is your opportunity. Your thoughts, your reactions, your decisions, your priorities. All of these shape the quality of your life more than any outside force ever will. When you take full responsibility, you stop waiting. You stop wishing. You stop assuming someone else is coming to fix it. You realize that if your life is to change, it begins with your willingness to lead it. That's the foundation of all growth. You can't move forward while blaming something behind you. The truth is, life is unpredictable. People will betray you. Opportunities will fall through. You will make mistakes. You will be misunderstood. But even when life throws what you didn't expect, your response is always yours to own. The person who blames feels powerless. The person who takes responsibility builds power. They look at setbacks and ask, "What now?" They face failures and ask, "What can I learn?" They encounter resistance and decide, "This won't break me." Responsibility is not a burden. It's freedom. It means you no longer live at the mercy of circumstance. Many people walk around carrying resentment. They replay the past. They count the ways they were wronged. But holding on to resentment is not the same as healing. You heal when you stop rehearsing pain and start rebuilding your mindset. And that can only happen when you take ownership. If someone hurt you, you still choose how long you let that pain live inside you. If something didn't work out, you still decide whether to dwell on it or grow from it. When you take responsibility, you stop feeding what drains you. You feed what strengthens you instead. Responsibility also means you stop lying to yourself. You stop pretending you don't know why you feel the way you do. You look at the truth with clarity. If you're tired, you ask what habits created that exhaustion. If you're broke, you examine your choices and patterns. If you feel stuck, you ask where you've been avoiding action. That kind of honesty is hard. It forces you to confront parts of yourself you'd rather ignore. But it's also where real transformation begins. Growth is not about blaming the old version of you. It's about facing it with maturity and deciding to rise above it. One of the most important aspects of responsibility is recognizing the power of your choices. Every day you are making decisions that shape your life, what you focus on, who you listen to, how you spend your time, what you consume, how you speak to yourself. These may seem like small moments, but they add up. A great life isn't built in a single leap. It's built in the daily choice to act in alignment with your values. And that begins by accepting that no one is making these choices for you. You also need to take responsibility for your emotions. That doesn't mean suppressing them or pretending to be happy all the time. It means noticing how you feel and choosing how you respond. It means not making other people responsible for your peace, your confidence, or your sense of worth. That kind of emotional maturity doesn't come overnight. But when you stop expecting others to fix how you feel, you begin to develop real strength. You start to understand yourself. You stop being reactive and start being intentional. Taking responsibility makes your life simpler. It eliminates excuses. It gives you a clear focus. You stop wasting time blaming the traffic, the noise, the weather, the people around you. You start asking better questions. What can I do today that makes me stronger tomorrow? What part of this is in my control? What's the next step forward? That clarity makes progress possible. It turns stress into structure. You don't need to control everything. You only need to control yourself. That's enough to build something meaningful. When you avoid responsibility, life starts to feel heavy. You wait for motivation instead of creating it. You hope for success, but don't build the habits that create it. You want people to treat you differently, but you don't treat yourself with the respect you're demanding. That gap between what you want and what you practice becomes suffering. But when you take ownership, that gap closes. You align your actions with your goals. You stop being a victim of your own potential. Taking responsibility also means accepting that your life reflects what you've tolerated. If your boundaries are weak, your relationships will suffer. If your time is unmanaged, your priorities will get lost. If you keep doing what's comfortable, your future will look like your past. That's not punishment. It's feedback. It's life showing you where you need to level up, and it's your job to listen. Responsibility is about raising your standards, not for others, but for yourself. You stop asking, what can I get away with, and start asking, what would the best version of me choose right now? There's a quiet confidence that comes with responsibility. You stop chasing approval because you've already accepted yourself. You stop reacting to criticism because you're focused on improving. You stop wasting energy on drama because your time matters. You become grounded, steady, reliable, first to yourself, then to others. That kind of consistency doesn't come from talking about change. It comes from becoming someone who practices it daily, without excuses. If you've made mistakes, and you have, because we all have, taking responsibility means you don't hide from them. You face them. You learn. You apologize when needed. You do better. You stop using your past as an identity and start using it as a reference. Your mistakes are not who you are, but they are part of your story. And owning them gives you the power to write a better next chapter. The past doesn't change, but your relationship with it does. That change begins when you stop defending your old patterns and start creating new ones. Responsibility also invites you to stop overthinking and start acting. Some people spend so much time analyzing what went wrong, what could go wrong, and what others did wrong, that they forget to move forward. Overthinking is just fear disguised as intelligence. Action breaks that pattern. When you take responsibility, you don't need perfect conditions. You need courage. You take the next step, and then the next. You trust yourself enough to figure it out along the way. That's how momentum builds. You may not control everything in life, but you always control your mindset. And the mindset of responsibility is what separates people who survive from people who thrive. When you take ownership, you become unshakable. Life can throw what it wants, but your response stays steady. You're no longer tossed around by opinions, delays, or circumstances. You anchor yourself in action. You become your own source of strength. And that kind of self-reliance changes everything. Some people will try to guilt you into carrying their burdens. They'll expect you to fix what they refuse to take responsibility for. That's not your job. Your job is to own your path, to be clear on your values, to take responsibility for your side of the street and nothing more. Boundaries are a form of responsibility too. You are not responsible for other people's emotions. You are responsible for how you show up, how you communicate, how you live. That's enough. This way of living is not always easy, but it is always worth it. You stop outsourcing your power. You stop waiting for someone to give you permission. You begin to see that your life, your health, your peace, your growth is a direct reflection of how you lead yourself. Responsibility is not a trait you're born with. It's a skill you build. One day at a time, one decision at a time. And the more you practice it, the stronger you become. If there's one thing to remember, it's this. The moment you stop blaming, you start building. You start building trust in yourself. You start building habits that support your future. You start building a life that reflects your highest standards. Taking responsibility is not a single decision. It's a way of living. And the more you live this way, the more unshakable you become. Every time you choose responsibility, you become a leader, not in title, but in character. You lead yourself with clarity, discipline, and purpose. And over time, your life begins to reflect that inner shift. You stop chasing motivation. You become the kind of person who does what needs to be done, with or without it. You don't wait for the perfect plan. You work the plan you have, and you make it better every day. You don't depend on other people's approval. You depend on your own progress. That kind of self-respect builds real confidence. This is how real change happens, not in a sudden transformation, but in the steady decision to take ownership of your life, one choice at a time. You will make mistakes. You will have setbacks. But if you keep showing up, keep learning, and keep leading yourself with responsibility, you will build a life that no one can take from you. A life built on discipline, clarity, strength, and truth. A life that reflects who you are at your best. And once you start living this way, you'll never want to go back, because you'll know what it feels like to be in control, not of the world, but of yourself. And that is the kind of power that lasts. Chapter 2. Build a daily routine that supports your growth. Every person wants to improve their life, but most never look at how they live each day. They focus on big goals and dreams, but ignore the daily choices that shape everything. Growth does not come from what you want once. It comes from what you do consistently. That's why building a daily routine that supports your growth is one of the most powerful decisions you can make. Your routine is not just about habits. It's about who you're becoming. It reflects your priorities, your discipline, and your commitment to yourself. When your day has no structure, your mind becomes reactive. You start each morning responding to whatever pulls your attention instead of directing it. You waste time deciding what to do next. You rush through tasks without purpose. You end the day feeling scattered, not satisfied. This is how many people live, busy but not focused, active but not intentional. A solid routine changes that. It removes uncertainty, it gives your energy a direction. It helps you protect what matters most. To build a routine that fuels your growth, you first need to understand where your time is going now. Most people don't realize how much they lose to distractions, delays, and decisions that add no value. When you don't track your time, you drift through the day. You scroll, you pause, you avoid. But the more aware you become of your time, the more power you have to change it. If something doesn't move you forward, you don't need to keep doing it. That includes how you start your morning, how you end your evening, and everything in between. The first hours of your day are the most important. They set the tone for everything that follows. If you wake up late, check your phone and rush into the day, your mind stays in survival mode. You're behind before you begin. But if you start your day with intention, even 30 minutes of focused action, you create momentum. You build confidence. You begin from a place of clarity instead of chaos. That's why your morning routine matters more than motivation. When you choose structure, you don't wait for a good mood. You train your mind to move with purpose. Your routine should reflect what helps you grow. That means including things that make your body stronger, your mind sharper, and your goals clearer. You don't need a perfect schedule, you need a consistent one. Focus on a few core activities that support your progress. Read something meaningful, move your body, reflect in silence. Plan your top priorities. These simple acts create a foundation of strength. They remind you each morning that your life is shaped by how you use your time. Growth requires space. When your day is packed with noise, tasks, and urgency, there's no room to think. That's why your routine must include moments of stillness, a quiet walk, a short journaling session, time without screens. These moments are not wasted. They are where clarity is built. You need space to think clearly. You need quiet to listen to yourself. Without it, you stay caught in other people's priorities. A solid routine protects you from this. It gives you back control of your attention. There is no growth without consistency. Most people give up not because they lack ability, but because they lack patience. They try something for a few days, then stop when results don't come fast. But your routine is not about instant results. It's about steady improvement. It's about becoming the kind of person who shows up, no matter what. When you commit to your routine, you teach yourself to follow through. You stop waiting to feel ready. You act because your identity is changing. You become reliable to yourself. Building a growth-focused routine also means cutting what no longer serves you. Some habits drain your focus. Some people waste your time. Some distractions rob you of presence. The more you grow, the less tolerance you'll have for things that don't align with your vision. That's not cold. That's clarity. You don't owe your energy to everything that asks for it. You owe it to what matters most. When your routine reflects your values, your life starts to align. You feel clearer. You move with greater direction. You don't need to overhaul your life in one day. You just need to start small and stay committed. Wake up 30 minutes earlier. Plan your next day the night before. Limit your screen time in the morning. Stretch for 10 minutes. Eat one meal without distractions. Track how your routine affects your mood, your focus, your results. Over time, these simple changes create powerful shifts. You don't need a life full of noise. You need a routine full of intention. It's also important to protect your evenings. Many people undo their progress at night. They stay up too late. They numb themselves with entertainment. They leave tasks unfinished and carry stress into the next day. A strong evening routine helps you reset. It signals to your mind that the day is closing. You reflect on what went well. You plan what matters tomorrow. You shut down the noise and prepare for rest. That's how you sleep with peace. That's how you wake up with clarity. Your routine is a mirror of your standards. If you keep saying you want to grow but keep living in chaos, the results will never change. You can't create a new life while living the same way. Growth demands structure. It demands discipline. It demands a routine that reflects your commitment. This isn't about perfection. You will miss days. You will fall off track. But you come back. You don't wait until next week. You return tomorrow. That's how you build momentum. Not through bursts of effort, but through daily return. Some people will mock your routine. They'll call it boring or strict. That doesn't matter. What matters is how you feel. Do you feel stronger? Do you feel more focused? Do you feel proud of how you spend your time? If the answer is yes, then stay the course. You're not living for approval. You're building a life that matches your values, and that will never come from pleasing others. It will only come from being aligned with yourself. Your routine must grow with you. What works today might not serve you a year from now. You need to adjust, refine, and evolve. Don't hold on to habits that feel familiar but no longer bring value. Growth means letting go of comfort. It means constantly asking, is this helping me become who I want to be? If the answer is no, change it. Don't wait. Time is not unlimited. Use it wisely. There will be days when your routine feels hard. Days when you're tired, distracted, discouraged. That's when your routine matters most. It reminds you of your goals. It grounds you in discipline. It keeps you moving when motivation is gone. Your routine becomes your anchor, not your burden. You don't have to think. You don't have to decide. You just do what you've chosen in advance. That's how you stay consistent in a chaotic world. The greatest reward of a strong routine is self-respect. You begin to trust yourself. You stop breaking promises to yourself. You stop making excuses. You start living like the person you say you want to be. That internal alignment creates confidence. Not the loud kind, the quiet kind. The kind that comes from knowing you're showing up every day. The kind that makes you calm, focused, and resilient no matter what the world throws at you. Your life will not change through hope alone. It will change through habits, through daily discipline, through a routine that reflects your purpose. You don't need motivation. You need structure. You need to know what matters and live like it does. That's the truth most people avoid. They want results without responsibility. But the ones who grow are the ones who build a life where growth is not a wish. It's a way of living. One morning at a time, one routine at a time, one decision at a time. Chapter 3. Cut out negative people who drain your energy. There comes a point in life when growth becomes impossible if you continue to surround yourself with people who bring confusion, drama, and doubt. No matter how strong you are, if your environment is filled with negativity, it will eventually wear you down. Energy is not endless, it is limited and precious. Who you give it to decides how far you go. This is why cutting out negative people is not selfish. It's necessary. If someone constantly drains you, disrespects you, or pulls you backward, your future depends on walking away. Not everyone around you wants to see you do better. Some people are uncomfortable with change. They are attached to the version of you that stayed quiet, stayed small, stayed stuck. The moment you try to grow, they begin to mock, resist, or challenge you. They don't do this because you're wrong. They do it because your progress reminds them of what they haven't faced. That tension can ruin your focus if you allow it. You owe no one your peace. You owe yourself your life. The hard truth is that not everyone who says they care about you is good for you. Some relationships are built on habits, not respect. Some friends are only there when you're struggling because it makes them feel better about their own situation. The moment you begin to heal, succeed, or stand firm, their tone changes. They become distant. They downplay your wins. They criticize your efforts. You start feeling guilty for improving. That is a red flag. No healthy connection will make you shrink to stay accepted. You need to learn how to protect your energy. That means being honest about how people affect you. If every time you speak with someone you feel anxious, drained, or frustrated, something is wrong, pay attention to that. Your body doesn't lie. If a conversation feels like a burden, that's a sign. If being around someone forces you to hide your truth or lower your standards, that's not friendship. That's survival. You don't need to survive your relationships. You deserve to feel supported, respected, and uplifted. Some people bring chaos wherever they go. They are always complaining, gossiping, or starting unnecessary conflict. They interrupt your focus with their problems but never make an effort to fix their own patterns. They need you to listen, fix, or comfort them, but never once ask how you're doing. You are not a therapist. You are not a dumping ground. You are not responsible for solving someone else's life while yours gets neglected. It's not cruel to walk away. It's cruel to sacrifice your mental health for people who refuse to change. Setting boundaries is not about controlling others. It's about teaching them how to treat you. If someone gets upset because you said no, because you took space, because you chose peace over drama, that's not your problem. That's their discomfort with losing access to your energy. People who truly respect you will understand when you draw the line. People who don't will try to guilt you into lowering it. Stay firm. If someone only shows love when you're struggling and disappears when you grow, that's not love, it's manipulation. Cutting out negative people doesn't always mean a dramatic confrontation. Sometimes it means creating distance, answering less, sharing less, engaging less. You don't need to announce your boundaries to the world, you just need to live them. The energy you stop feeding will eventually fade, and in that space, you create room for clarity, healing, and better connections. The absence of drama is not loneliness, it's relief, it's peace, it's freedom from cycles that kept you tired and distracted. There will be people who try to twist your decision. They'll say you've changed, that you've become cold, that you've forgotten where you came from. That's fine. You are not responsible for staying the same so others feel comfortable. Growth requires change. Peace requires choices. Strength requires standards. The people who truly want the best for you will grow with you. The rest will fall away. That's not rejection. That's alignment. You have to be clear about what kind of life you're building. If your vision is built on discipline, focus, and purpose, then your circle must reflect those values. You can't keep people close who joke about failure, ignore responsibility, or shame ambition. Their mindset will become your environment. Their doubts will become your noise. Their habits will affect your decisions. Surrounding yourself with people who push forward doesn't just inspire you, it keeps you accountable. Growth is not just what you do. It's who you allow around you. You don't owe explanations to people who don't value your peace. You don't need to defend your boundaries or justify your distance. Maturity means understanding that not all relationships are meant to last. Some were only meant to teach you how to protect your space. And once that lesson is learned, it's your job to apply it. Holding on to the wrong people out of guilt or history only delays the future you're trying to create. Let go with grace. Move on with clarity. If you want to grow, you have to be willing to make space. That means releasing conversations that go in circles, letting go of friends who only talk about other people, saying goodbye to people who keep score instead of showing love, refusing to engage with that who need you to dim your light to keep their ego comfortable. That kind of honesty will hurt in the short term, but in the long term, it will save your life. You will feel lighter. You will breathe deeper. You will become someone you respect. Removing negative people is not about anger, it's about alignment. You don't have to hate someone to stop speaking with them. You don't have to destroy the bridge. You simply stop crossing it. You protect your energy by protecting your access. Time is not endless. You cannot keep spending it on people who don't grow, don't listen, don't change. Their resistance to healing is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to live with purpose, to build a life that reflects your values, to give your energy where it returns with peace, not chaos. When you step away from negativity, your mind gets quieter. You begin to think clearly. You stop rehearsing arguments in your head. You stop walking on eggshells. You stop over-explaining. That mental space opens the door to creativity, discipline, and progress. You begin to attract better relationships, not because you're lucky, but because your standards created the space for them. Growth happens when you stop feeding what drains you and start nourishing what fuels you. The strongest people you'll meet are not the loudest. They're the ones who choose their peace over approval, who walk away from noise without a fight, who say no without guilt, who protect their focus even if it means being misunderstood. That kind of strength is built by facing hard truths, by admitting that some connections are no longer right, by choosing self-respect over comfort, and by remembering that you don't need many people around you, you just need the right ones. If someone makes you question your worth, belittle your goals, or constantly bring negativity into your life, that is not someone you need to keep close. You are not obligated to carry people who refuse to carry themselves. You are not a container for other people's unresolved issues. You are not a backup plan. You are not someone's emotional crutch. You are a person with a future, a purpose, and a limited amount of energy to give. Give it where it builds you. You will lose some people on your way to becoming who you're meant to be. That's part of the process. Growth creates distance. Not because you're better than anyone, but because you're choosing better for yourself, and the people who belong in your life will never make you question your worth for choosing that. They'll respect your boundaries, they'll match your effort, they'll grow beside you. Cutting out negative people is not the end. It's the beginning. It's the beginning. It's the beginning of a life with more peace, more focus, and more power. It's the beginning of choosing relationships that help you rise, not pull you down. It's the beginning of honoring your own energy and using it wisely, because when you stop giving your time to what weakens you, you begin to build a life that strengthens you every single day. Chapter 4. Choose discipline over distraction. Every single day. Every day, you face a simple but defining choice: to stay focused on what matters or to get pulled away by what doesn't. Most people think failure happens suddenly, but in truth it happens slowly, in moments when they choose comfort over effort, entertainment over progress, and excuses over action. Distraction is easy. It asks nothing of you. It offers temporary relief, short-term pleasure, and the illusion of productivity. Discipline, on the other hand, is hard. It demands presence, commitment, and sacrifice. But discipline is the path that builds a life you're proud of. Distraction is the path that leaves you wondering where all your time went. In a world full of noise, staying focused is a form of power. Everything around you is designed to pull your attention away from your phone, your notifications, the endless content and the opinions of others. If you're not careful, your days will be spent reacting instead of acting. You'll wake up and check messages before you've checked in with your own priorities. You'll spend hours scrolling through someone else's life while ignoring your own. You'll end the day exhausted, not from hard work but from mental clutter. This is how distraction steals your potential. Quietly, repeatedly. Discipline is not about being perfect. It's about choosing what matters, even when you don't feel like it. It's waking up early because you said you would. It's finishing the task because your future depends on it. It's saying no to comfort when progress is calling. You don't need more time, you need fewer excuses. Every time you say, "I'll do it later," you trade a better future for a moment of relief, and that trade, made over and over, becomes a life of regret. The difference between those who grow and those who stay stuck is rarely talent. It's consistency. It's the ability to do the hard thing, especially when it's boring, inconvenient, or uncomfortable. The truth is, progress is not always exciting. Some days it's repetitive. Some days it feels invisible. But those are the days that separate those who dream from those who execute. Discipline doesn't just build skills, it builds self-respect. The more you keep your word to yourself, the stronger your belief in yourself becomes. Distraction feeds your impulses. Discipline builds your identity. When you constantly give in to what feels good now, you lose control of your life. You start living on autopilot, but when you stay focused on what you value most, you begin to feel in charge again. You no longer need to chase motivation. You become the kind of person who acts with or without it. This shift in identity is where real change begins. You stop saying, "I'll try," and you start living like someone who follows through. You have to build a system that supports your discipline. Willpower alone is not enough. If your environment is full of distractions, your discipline will suffer. Remove what pulls you away. Set clear times for deep work. Turn off notifications. Keep your phone out of sight. Start your day with focus, not noise. You don't need a perfect schedule. You need a consistent one. The fewer decisions you leave to chance, the easier it becomes to stay disciplined. When your structure is clear, your mind becomes calm. Discipline also means being honest about what's holding you back. If you spend hours doing tasks that don't align with your goals, that's not work, that's avoidance. If you stay busy just to feel productive, you're avoiding what truly matters. It takes courage to admit that you're distracting yourself from the real work. But that honesty is the first step to taking control. You don't need to do more. You need to focus better. Eliminate the noise. Prioritize the important. Create before you consume. Act before you analyze. Every distraction has a cost. Time lost to mindless scrolling, unfinished tasks, and constant interruptions adds up. Those moments don't just disappear. They become days, weeks, and eventually years of unrealized potential. You can't get that time back, but you can take responsibility moving forward. Start by creating clear rules for yourself. No screens during deep work. One task at a time. Start small, finish strong. Build systems that protect your focus, not sabotage it. The results may not come overnight, but they will come. Discipline is also about what you say no to. You can't do everything. You can't be everywhere. You can't please everyone. Every yes is a trade-off. If you say yes to every invitation, every distraction, every impulse, you say no to your own progress. The people who succeed are not superhuman. They're just clear on what they're building, and they protect it ruthlessly. That clarity gives them strength. They are not driven by how they feel. They are driven by what they value. To choose discipline over distraction is to live with intention. It means you're no longer waiting for the perfect time. You use the time you have. You stop blaming circumstances. You take control of your reactions. You do the work whether it's exciting or not. That's how you build momentum, not by doing more, by doing what matters consistently. Each day you choose discipline. You build a life that gets closer to the one you deserve. You must also learn how to manage your energy. Discipline is not about burning out. It's about working with rhythm. Know when you're most focused and schedule your hardest work then. Take real breaks, not ones filled with distractions. Rest is not a waste. It's fuel, but rest is not the same as escaping. Scrolling endlessly, numbing out and zoning out are not rest. They're delays. Real rest is intentional. Real rest prepares you to return stronger. Discipline includes rest, because growth requires recovery. There will be moments when you slip, when distraction wins. That doesn't mean you've failed. It means you're human. What matters most is how quickly you return. One off day does not erase your progress, but ignoring your patterns will track what pulls you away. Study yourself, learn your triggers, then build guardrails. Discipline is not about being harsh. It's about being aware. It's about noticing when you're drifting and correcting your course. The sooner you return, the faster you rise. You have to want progress more than you want comfort. That is what separates those who evolve from those who remain the same. There will always be something easier to do, something more entertaining, something that requires less effort. But the people who create real change in their lives are the ones who choose to sit down and do the work anyway. Not because it's fun, but because it matters. They are not waiting for ideal conditions. They are creating them, one disciplined action at a time. Every goal, every transformation, every breakthrough is the result of daily choices. Not big declarations, not random motivation, just small, repeated, disciplined action. That's the truth most people ignore. They look for secrets, shortcuts, or new strategies. But the answer is always the same. Focus on what matters. Cut out what doesn't. Repeat it every single day. Over time, that repetition becomes identity. That identity creates results, and those results change everything. You don't need to be extreme. You need to be consistent. A focused hour every day builds more than a scattered week. A single task done well outperforms 10 unfinished ones. Start small. Be patient. Build slowly. And when distractions try to pull you off track, remember why you started. That purpose is stronger than any impulse. Let it guide you. You are not here to waste time. You are not here to scroll through life while your goals sit on hold. You are here to build, to grow, to lead yourself forward. That requires discipline, not for a day, not for a week, but for a lifetime. Not because it's easy, but because it's worth it. Every day you choose discipline over distraction. You take one more step toward the life you were meant to live. Keep stepping, keep showing up, keep choosing what matters. That is how you win. Chapter 5. Speak honestly, even when the truth is hard. There are few things more powerful than telling the truth. Not the version that makes you look good, not the one that keeps others comfortable, but the real truth. The kind that feels uncomfortable, heavy, and sometimes even risky. Speaking honestly, especially when it's hard, is one of the clearest signs of personal strength. It shows that you value clarity over comfort, integrity over approval, and growth over ease. Most people avoid hard conversations because they fear what might happen, but avoiding the truth never protects you. It only delays what's necessary, and over time that silence builds confusion, resentment, and distance, both within yourself and between you and others. When you withhold what you really think, you lose alignment with your own values. You begin to filter yourself, adjust your words, and water down your beliefs just to avoid tension. But that tension doesn't disappear, it hides inside you. It affects how you speak, how you act, and how you feel. You start carrying the weight of unspoken words, and that weight grows heavier each day. Honesty is not about being harsh or unkind. It's about being real, clear, and consistent with what you know to be true, even when that truth is inconvenient. People often lie to avoid conflict. They tell partial truths, or stay silent to keep the peace. But peace built on dishonesty is not real peace. It's a performance, and over time, that performance breaks you. You begin to doubt yourself. You feel anxious in conversations. You second-guess every word. You wonder if people truly know you, or just the version of you that's easier to accept. Speaking honestly may shake things at first, but it creates a foundation you can stand on. It gives you the strength of being seen, heard, and understood as you really are. Telling the truth also helps you grow. When you speak honestly, you're forced to confront your own thinking. You become more aware of your feelings, your boundaries, and your responsibilities. You stop pretending that everything is fine when it's not. You stop carrying emotions that don't belong to you. You speak up when something is unfair. You say what you need instead of hoping others guess it. That level of self-respect creates clarity. It allows you to stop settling for what feels safe and start building what feels right. Sometimes honesty means admitting when you're wrong. That's not weakness, that's courage. It takes strength to look someone in the eye and own your mistakes, to apologize with sincerity, to admit you acted out of fear, ego, or emotion. But when you do that, you grow. You show that your character is more important than your pride. You give others permission to do the same. Real connection isn't built on perfection, it's built on truth, trust, and the willingness to face hard things together. Other times, speaking the truth means telling someone something they might not want to hear, that they're being unfair, that they crossed a boundary, that their choices are harming themselves or others. These conversations feel risky. You may fear losing the relationship, creating tension, or being misunderstood. But silence allows damage to grow. Truth, even when uncomfortable, can stop the cycle. It can invite change. It can bring healing. The people who care about growth will respect you for your honesty. The ones who don't were never meant to stay. Honesty also builds clarity in your own life. When you tell the truth about how you feel, what you want, and what you stand for, you stop wasting time. You no longer agree to things out of guilt. You no longer say yes when you mean no. You stop over-explaining or pleasing just to be liked. Your words match your values. Your actions match your beliefs. That alignment creates confidence. You don't have to remember what mask you wore. You just live from your truth, even when it's uncomfortable. One of the hardest truths to speak is the one you need to say to yourself. To admit when you've been avoiding action. To accept that you've allowed fear to hold you back. To recognize when you've betrayed your own values. Just to be accepted. That internal honesty is the starting point of real change. It allows you to stop pretending. It forces you to make different choices. You stop asking for pity. You start demanding better from yourself. That's where self-respect is built, not in perfection, but in truth. It's also important to understand that truth doesn't always mean speaking up right away. Sometimes you need to sit with your thoughts, get clear on what you feel, choose your words with care. Honesty is not an excuse to be reckless with your speech. It's a responsibility. The goal is not to hurt, embarrass, or blame. The goal is to bring clarity, resolve tension, and invite understanding. Speak clearly. Speak calmly. Speak with purpose. That is what makes the truth powerful. Not just the words, but the intention behind them. You will lose some people when you start speaking honestly. The ones who benefited from your silence will not like your voice. The ones who manipulated your guilt will not like your boundaries. The ones who controlled you with expectations will not like your freedom. That's okay. You are not here to live quietly inside someone else's idea of who you should be. You are here to live fully, truthfully, and without apology. The right people will not fear your truth. They will value it. And speaking honestly every day is not easy. It requires emotional strength. It demands discipline. You will feel nervous. You will be tempted to avoid, delay, or sugarcoat. But the longer you delay the truth, the harder it becomes to face. Start small. Say what you mean in conversations. Admit when something feels off. Ask the questions you've been avoiding. Let your words reflect your values. With time, it becomes easier. You become more confident. Your relationships become more real. Honesty doesn't guarantee that others will respond well. Some people will react defensively. Some won't listen. Some will push back. But you are not responsible for their response. You are responsible for speaking with clarity and respect. Your truth deserves to be heard, even if it makes others uncomfortable, even if it challenges what they believe. Truth is not always pleasant, but it is always necessary. Without it, trust dies. Without it, progress stops. In every area of life, work, relationships, self-development, honesty is what creates real growth. If you want a better life, you must stop lying to keep the peace. Stop hiding to avoid conflict. Stop editing yourself to fit in. Speak from a place of truth. Let your words reflect who you are. Let your honesty guide your decisions. Let it protect your peace. You don't need to say everything, but what you do say should be real. The most powerful version of you is the one who speaks the truth with strength and grace. Not just when it's easy, but especially when it's hard. That version of you doesn't hide behind silence, doesn't shrink in fear, doesn't twist words to fit in. That version stands tall, speaks clearly, and trusts that truth is always the right choice, even when it's uncomfortable. Because over time, that kind of honesty builds a life of depth, strength, and self-respect. And that is a life worth building every single day. Chapter 6. Set clear goals and work on them daily. Your life will not improve by accident. It will not change by luck or by waiting for the right time. The people who create meaningful success are the ones who decide exactly what they want and then commit to it without excuse. Vague hopes create vague results. But when your goals are clear and your actions are consistent, progress becomes inevitable. The reason most people stay stuck is not because they lack talent or time. It's because they haven't made their direction specific. They say they want a better life, but they haven't defined what that means. They want to feel motivated, but they don't know what they're moving toward. When you set clear goals, you give your mind a target. When you work on them daily, you create momentum. You must decide what matters to you. Not what others expect. Not what looks impressive, but what truly aligns with your values, your strengths, and your vision of a meaningful life. Setting clear goals starts with honesty. You must ask yourself, what do I want to build? Who do I want to become? What habits must I develop to get there? If the answer is not precise, then you are not yet committed. Without clarity, you will chase distractions and waste years repeating the same habits. Clear goals bring purpose. They eliminate confusion. They give you a reason to say no to what doesn't align. A real goal is not a fantasy. It is a decision. It is not about what you wish you could do. It is about what you are willing to prioritize. A clear goal includes a timeline, a process, and a daily commitment. Saying, "I want to be successful," means nothing until you define what success looks like for you. Is it mastering a skill, building a business, improving your health, saving a specific amount of money, completing a long project? Until your goal is detailed and written down, it remains an idea, not a mission, and ideas without structure fade. When you wake up with no goal, the world decides how you spend your time. You answer messages all day. You chase urgent problems. You move from one task to the next without a sense of purpose. But when you wake up knowing exactly what you're working toward, your day has structure, your focus sharpens. You stop being busy and start being effective. Clear goals protect your energy. They tell you what matters and what doesn't. They help you filter your choices. Working on your goals daily doesn't mean doing everything at once. It means doing something that brings you closer every single day. Progress is built through small, focused steps. 5 minutes of writing, 30 minutes of deep work, one focused phone call, one honest reflection. These actions may feel small in the moment, but over time they build confidence, discipline, and real results. The key is consistency, not intensity. You don't need a perfect day, you need a deliberate one. Every day you don't work on your goals, you drift. You become more reactive and less intentional. You lose the sharpness of purpose. You feel frustrated, but you can't explain why. That frustration is a signal. It's your inner voice reminding you that you're not honoring your potential. And the only way to fix it is through action. You don't need to wait for motivation. You need to act even when motivation is low. That's how discipline is built. And discipline builds freedom. When your goals are clear, distractions become obvious. You start to notice which habits waste your time. You recognize which people drain your focus. You stop entertaining tasks that keep you busy but not productive. Clear goals create boundaries. They make you more aware of your choices, and awareness leads to control. You no longer guess what to do. You follow the plan you created. That self-leadership becomes your strength. It's also important to track your progress. What you measure, you improve. Write down what you did each day. Note what worked and what didn't. Reflect on your habits. Adjust your approach when needed. A clear goal with no feedback creates stagnation, but when you check in regularly, you stay aligned, you learn faster, you correct mistakes early. You build momentum. Success is not found in massive change, it's found in small changes made often. Some days will feel slow. Progress will seem invisible. You'll wonder if the work matters, but that's where most people give up. Right before the breakthrough. The process is not always exciting. It's not supposed to be. That's why most people don't finish what they start. But if you keep showing up, if you keep doing the work whether you feel like it or not, something changes. You start to see results. You start to feel proud. Not just of what you've built, but of who you've become. Your goals are not just tasks to complete. They are commitments to yourself. They are promises to your future. When you ignore them, you weaken your trust in yourself. You begin to doubt your own ability to follow through. But when you act daily, even in small ways, you strengthen that trust. You become someone who does what they say. That integrity builds quiet confidence. You stop needing approval. You stop chasing shortcuts. You know your progress is real. You must also be flexible. Goals evolve. Life changes. What mattered to you 6 months ago may not matter now. That's not failure. That's growth. Adjust your goals as your understanding deepens. But don't abandon them just because it gets hard. Difficulty is part of the journey. Resistance means you're moving forward. Use it. Let it sharpen your focus. Don't share every goal with people who don't share your vision. Not everyone needs to understand what you're building. Some people won't support you. Some will doubt you. Some will mock your effort. That doesn't matter. You are not doing this for approval. You are doing it because you know what kind of life you want, and that life is built by action, not opinions. You don't need perfect conditions. You need clarity and commitment. You don't need to feel ready. You need to begin. Every great outcome started with a simple decision. I will do this. Not tomorrow. Not next month. Now, start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can. And then repeat it tomorrow. Your goals will shape your habits. Your habits will shape your days. Your days will shape your future. If you want a better life, you must become someone who works toward it, deliberately and consistently. That work is not glamorous. It is quiet, often unseen, but it is powerful, because with each small action, you prove to yourself that change is real, that effort matters, that you are capable. Set a goal that excites you. Break it into steps. Schedule your actions. Track your effort. Remove what distracts you. Adjust when needed. And most importantly, show up daily, not because it's easy, but because your future deserves your full attention. Because your life is your responsibility. Because your dreams are waiting to be built, not wished for, not talked about, but built one step at a time. That is how progress happens. That is how goals are reached. That is how lives are changed. Chapter 7. Learn to say no without feeling any guilt. One of the most important skills you can ever learn is the ability to say no. Not with anger, not with fear, but with calm, clear, unapologetic strength. The inability to say no is one of the main reasons people feel overwhelmed, exhausted, and disconnected from themselves. They agree to things they don't want to do. They accept invitations they don't enjoy. They say yes when every part of them is screaming no. And they do it not because they care, but because they fear being judged, rejected, or seen as selfish. That fear leads to guilt. But guilt is not proof that you've done something wrong. Often it's a sign that you're finally starting to put yourself first in a world that taught you to please everyone else. Saying no does not make you rude. It does not make you cold. It does not make you unkind. It makes you honest. It means you respect your own time, your energy, your priorities, and your peace. You cannot build a life that fulfills you while constantly betraying yourself to keep others comfortable. Every yes that goes against your values is a small act of self-abandonment. And those small moments add up until you no longer recognize your own voice beneath the noise of everyone else's demands. You have the right to protect your boundaries. You have the right to pause before answering. You have the right to say, "That doesn't work for me," without offering a lengthy explanation. The truth is, most people aren't upset because you said no. They're upset because you stopped making their comfort more important than your well-being. If someone only supports you when you agree with them, that's not support, that's control. And you are not here to be controlled. You are here to live in alignment with what matters most to you. Learning to say no is about reclaiming your time. It's about realizing that every time you say yes to something unimportant, you are saying no to something essential. You're saying no to rest, no to reflection, no to your goals, no to the time and space that help you grow. Time is not something you can recover once it's gone. The hours you spend doing things out of guilt are hours you will never get back. And if you continue down that path, you'll find yourself resentful, not because others asked, but because you never learned how to say no. Saying no is also about honesty. It means being truthful about your capacity, your interests, and your priorities. If something doesn't align with your values or drains your energy, you owe it to yourself to decline. Not harshly, but firmly. You do not need to be available to everyone. You do not need to be liked by everyone. You do not need to explain your every decision. You simply need to trust that your needs are valid and that honoring them is not a betrayal of others. It's a commitment to yourself. It takes time to build this kind of strength. At first, you might feel guilt after saying no. You might worry about how you're being perceived. You might feel the urge to over-explain or make up excuses. That's natural, but with practice, you begin to realize that the world doesn't fall apart when you say no. People adjust, they move on, and the ones who truly respect you will still be there. The guilt fades, and in its place comes something stronger: clarity, peace, and self-trust. You cannot grow if you are constantly stuck in the habit of saying yes to everything. You cannot focus if your schedule is filled with obligations you accepted out of guilt. You cannot evolve if you continue to give away your time to people or projects that do not align with who you are becoming. You must get comfortable with discomfort. You must understand that disappointing others is sometimes necessary if you want to stay true to yourself. And that's not selfish, that's responsible. Start with the small moments. When someone asks for your time and you're already overwhelmed, pause before replying. If your body tenses, that's a signal. If your mind hesitates, that's information. You do not need to say yes on the spot. You can say, "Let me check and get back to you." You can say, "That won't work for me right now." You can say no with kindness, but also with conviction. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. People will have their own reactions. Some will be disappointed. Some may question your motives. Some may try to convince you to change your mind. That's okay. Their reaction is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to make decisions based on your truth. Not everyone will understand your boundaries. Not everyone needs to. You are not here to meet every expectation placed on you. You are here to live with integrity, and sometimes that means refusing what doesn't serve you. You must also remind yourself that your worth is not based on how much you do for others. You are not more valuable because you overextend yourself. You are not more lovable because you say yes to everything. Your value is already complete. You do not need to prove it through exhaustion. The people who truly love you will want you to take care of yourself. They will respect your time. They will appreciate your honesty. And they will understand that a healthy relationship includes room for boundaries. There is also a deep strength in being able to say no without anger. When you can decline something calmly, without guilt or hostility, you show that you are in control of your decisions. You are not reacting, you are choosing, and that power builds confidence. You begin to walk through life with more certainty. You stop waiting for permission to protect your peace. You stop apologizing for taking care of your needs. You stop minimizing your voice. This strength affects every area of your life. At work, you stop taking on extra tasks that hurt your focus. In relationships, you stop tolerating disrespect or emotional manipulation. In your personal life, you make room for rest, reflection, and joy. You no longer live in reaction to others. You live from intention. And that shift changes everything. You start showing up with more energy, more presence, and more purpose, not because you're doing more, but because you're doing what truly matters. The freedom that comes from saying no is quiet but powerful. It's the freedom to design your own schedule, the freedom to protect your mental space, the freedom to say yes to things that genuinely matter, and that freedom begins with one decision: to stop apologizing for your boundaries and to start honoring them. There is no need to defend your no. There is no need to wrap it in guilt. You are not rejecting people, you are protecting your priorities, and you can do that with love, with calm, and with clarity. The more you do it, the more you realize that saying no is not about shutting people out. It's about letting the right things in. It's about giving your energy to what builds you, not what drains you. And it's about finally giving yourself the permission to live fully, freely, and without guilt. Chapter 8. Fix your sleep and wake up with purpose. The way you sleep affects everything in your life. Your thoughts, your mood, your energy, your decisions, they all rise or fall depending on how well you rest. Yet, most people treat sleep like an afterthought. They stay up late doing things that don't matter and wake up tired, dragging themselves into a day that feels like a burden. They don't see sleep as a tool for building a better life. They treat it like a break from life, not part of it. But sleep is not just rest. It's recovery. It's a reset button. It's a chance for your body and mind to rebuild so you can return stronger. Without good sleep, no plan will stick, no habit will last, and no goal will feel within reach. The world constantly pulls you to stay up longer, keep scrolling, keep working, or keep consuming. You convince yourself that another hour won't hurt. But it always catches up with you. The lack of sleep weakens your ability to focus, drains your willpower, and blurs your thinking. You can't show up fully in your life when your body is running on empty. You may push through for a while, but eventually the exhaustion shows in your decisions, your relationships, and your mindset. That's why fixing your sleep is not just a health habit, it's a commitment to yourself. Waking up with purpose begins the night before. Your morning starts when you decide to shut down, unplug, and give yourself the rest you deserve. A chaotic night leads to a slow, reactive morning. But when you create a consistent sleep routine, everything shifts. You don't have to rely on luck or motivation. You simply rise with clarity, because your body is prepared and your mind is calm. Sleep restores your mental sharpness, stabilizes your emotions, and strengthens your discipline. When you are well rested, your goals stop feeling like pressure and start feeling like a choice. Building a better life requires energy. Without energy, even the best intentions fade. That's why the foundation of any routine must begin with honoring your sleep. This is not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. It's about choosing a bedtime and sticking to it, creating a nighttime routine that signals your brain to slow down, reducing screens that keep your mind wired and alert, ending the day with reflection, not stimulation. These small changes compound into powerful results. Your mind needs rest to think clearly. When you sleep poorly, your thoughts are scattered. You forget what matters. You feel overwhelmed more easily. Decisions that would normally feel simple suddenly seem difficult. Problems feel bigger than they are. This is not a failure of mindset. It's a result of fatigue. Sleep helps your brain organize memories, process emotions, and prepare for new information. Without it, every part of your day becomes harder than it should be. But once your sleep is consistent, you gain clarity, focus, and control. The most successful people do not wake up early because they want to suffer. They wake up early because they know that the first hours of the day are sacred. These early hours shape your mindset. They give you time to think, plan, and act before the world begins to pull at your attention. But in order to wake up early and strong, you must protect your rest. Getting up at 5 while sleeping at 1 is not discipline. It's self-destruction. Early mornings only work when they are supported by early nights. Your sleep is not just about quantity, it's also about quality. The environment you sleep in matters. Your room should be quiet, dark, and cool. Your bed should feel like a place of peace, not a place of stress. Stop using your phone as your bedtime companion. Stop falling asleep to chaos. Replace stimulation with stillness. End your day with a book, reflection, or simple breathing. Let your mind know it's safe to rest. This habit may seem small, but it signals to your brain that you are taking care of yourself. Once you begin sleeping better, waking up becomes a completely different experience. You no longer dread the day. You no longer hit snooze 5 times and rush into chaos. You rise with clarity. You rise with strength. You rise with the power to choose how your day begins. And that moment, the first hour of your morning, is where real change starts. This is when you center yourself, when you revisit your goals, when you do the things that matter most before the noise of the world begins. This is not about being perfect. It's about creating a rhythm that puts you in control. You don't need an elaborate morning routine to change your life. You just need a consistent one. Even 20 minutes of quiet focus can change the direction of your day. Move your body, write your thoughts, review your plan, make one strong decision before the world wakes up. These simple actions anchor your mindset. They remind you that you are not a passenger in your life. You are the driver, and you begin every journey with intention. Too many people begin their mornings in reaction mode. They wake up late. They scroll through notifications. They rush out the door with no plan. Then they wonder why they feel anxious, lost, and exhausted. That cycle begins with poor sleep and ends with wasted days. But you can break it. You can choose to prepare the night before. You can choose to rise with purpose. And once you experience the difference, you will never go back. There is no success without energy. There is no progress without focus. And there is no consistency without rest. Sleep is not a weakness. It's not a luxury. It's a tool. It's a decision you make to value your life, your goals, and your potential. When you give yourself proper rest, you give your best self a chance to show up, and that version of you is unstoppable. Your future depends on what you do each day. But what you do each day depends on how you start each morning, and how you start each morning depends on how you end each night. If you want change, begin there. Protect your peace, guard your energy, respect your time, go to sleep with a clear mind, wake up with a clear goal. Do this again and again until it becomes your normal, and then watch how everything else begins to align. Chapter 9. Track your habits and improve them every week. Every decision you make either builds your future or delays it. Your habits, those small actions you repeat every day, are the invisible architects of your life. Whether you are aware of them or not, they are shaping your health, your mindset, your productivity, and your overall direction. The truth is, people do not rise to the level of their goals, they fall to the strength of their systems. And your habits are your system. If you want to grow, evolve, and accomplish something meaningful, you must first understand what you're doing every day, why you're doing it, and how it's affecting your progress. That starts by tracking. Tracking your habits is not about perfection. It's about clarity. It helps you see patterns that are normally hidden. You begin to notice what supports you and what holds you back. You stop guessing. You stop assuming that things will just work out eventually. You start dealing with reality, and only when you face reality can you begin to change it. Without tracking, it's easy to lie to yourself. You think you're consistent, but the data says otherwise. You believe you're doing your best, but the results don't reflect that. Awareness breaks denial. Tracking brings that awareness. When you track your habits, you give your attention to your behavior, not your hopes or excuses. You look at what's actually happening. Did you exercise this week? Did you wake up when you planned to? Did you write, read, reflect, or follow through on your priorities? These questions demand honesty, and that honesty makes you powerful, not ashamed. Because once you're honest about your habits, you can begin to adjust them, not someday but today. Improvement is not about making a huge change once. It's about making small changes over and over until they become second nature. That only happens through measurement. If you don't measure your actions, you can't manage them. You won't know what needs fixing. You won't know what's working. You won't know how far you've come. Progress is easier to sustain when you can see it, touch it, and reflect on it. That's why tracking weekly matters. A day gives you too little data. A month is too late to adjust. A week is perfect. It shows trends without being overwhelming. Every week, review your habits with honesty and simplicity. Look at what you intended to do and what you actually did. If there's a gap, don't make excuses. Make adjustments. Ask yourself why. Were you tired? Were you distracted? Were you unclear on your priorities? Then use that insight to shift your strategy. If you skipped workouts, maybe your schedule is unrealistic. If you didn't write, maybe you need to set a smaller target. If you avoided a hard task, maybe you need to break it into easier steps. The goal isn't to judge yourself, it's to learn how to improve. Tracking also keeps you focused on action, not emotion. On hard days, you may feel like nothing is working, but your tracker will remind you of your consistency. It will show you that you're not failing. You're just having a tough moment. On easy days, it keeps you grounded. Just because you feel motivated doesn't mean your habits are on track. Numbers don't lie. They keep your progress honest. And honesty is what drives real growth. You don't need a complex system. A notebook, an app, or even a simple chart will do. Choose a few key habits that matter most to your goals. Keep the list short. Don't overwhelm yourself by tracking 10 things at once. Start with 3 or 4 that really move your life forward. Maybe it's waking up early, reading, planning your day, or avoiding distractions. Track daily, review weekly, improve gradually. That is the path. Every week, ask yourself a few simple questions. What did I do well? What habit slipped? What triggered the slip? What can I change next week? Then make a small, clear adjustment. Maybe you reduce screen time by 30 minutes. Maybe you prep your meals on Sunday to avoid poor choices. Maybe you go to bed earlier. These are small shifts, but over time, they change everything, because what you do repeatedly becomes who you are. The discipline of tracking builds self-awareness. You start noticing how your environment affects your actions. You see how one poor decision leads to another. You discover which time of day you're most productive. You find out what helps you stay focused. This insight gives you leverage. It helps you remove friction. It helps you build habits that stick, not through willpower but through design. You stop trying harder and start setting up systems that make doing the right thing easier. As you continue this process, you will see trends. Maybe you're consistent for 4 days, but lose momentum on weekends. Maybe your energy drops in the afternoon. Maybe certain people or situations derail your focus. Tracking reveals these truths, and these truths help you prepare. You no longer hope you'll stay consistent. You plan for it. You create strategies. You build routines around your real life, not an ideal one. That's what makes habits sustainable. It's important to understand that improvement is not linear. Some weeks you will grow faster, others will feel slow. That's okay. The goal is not perfection. The goal is progress, and progress is built when you keep showing up, even when results seem invisible. That's why tracking helps. It proves that the work matters, even when the rewards are delayed. You may not see massive change in a week, but look back after a month, after 3 months, after 6, and you'll realize how far you've come. That's the power of steady, measured improvement. There's also a deeper reward that comes from tracking your habits. You begin to trust yourself. You stop breaking promises to your future. You feel proud, not because you reached a goal, but because you honored your effort. That pride builds confidence, and confidence makes future habits easier to stick with. You stop needing outside validation. You have proof, real, visible, personal proof that you are growing. This level of discipline will affect every part of your life. Your work becomes more focused. Your mind becomes clearer. Your relationships become healthier. Why? Because you are no longer living on autopilot. You are living with intention. You are acting on what matters. You are building habits that support the life you actually want. And you are doing it with awareness, clarity, and responsibility. You will never regret tracking your habits. You will only regret the time you spent drifting, unaware of what was holding you back. Awareness is the first step. Discipline is the second. Consistency is the third. When you combine all three, change becomes a natural outcome, not something you hope for, something you create, week by week, day by day, decision by decision. This is not just about building better habits. It's about becoming a stronger, clearer version of yourself, one step at a time. Chapter 10. Control your reactions instead of blaming the world. Life will never give you full control over what happens, but it will always give you control over how you respond. The world is unpredictable. People will disappoint you. Plans will fall apart. Obstacles will show up without warning, but none of that can define your life unless you let it. Most people spend their energy blaming the world for how they feel, reacting to every inconvenience, and waiting for things outside of themselves to change before they decide to be calm or take action. But real strength is built when you take full ownership of your reactions. You don't control the traffic, but you control your patience. You don't control someone's attitude, but you control how you engage with them. You don't control the past, but you control the story you continue to tell yourself about it. This kind of self-control is not about suppressing emotions. It's about choosing not to let emotions dictate your behavior. Every time something upsets you, there is a small gap between the trigger and your reaction. In that gap lies the most powerful choice you can ever make. You can lash out, complain, or withdraw, or you can pause, breathe, observe, and respond with intention. That pause is not weakness. That pause is self-respect. It's what separates people who are always in conflict from those who move through life with clarity. The more you blame the world, the more powerless you feel. But when you begin to own your response, you realize how much influence you actually have over your experience of life. Blaming removes responsibility. It's easier to say, "I'm like this because of them," or I failed because of that situation. It takes the pressure off you, but it also takes the power away from you. You hand over control of your life to things you can't change. And the more you do that, the more stuck you feel. Growth doesn't happen in blame. It happens in ownership. It begins the moment you decide to stop pointing outward and start looking inward. Not because you're at fault for everything, but because you are responsible for how you carry it forward. People will treat you unfairly. That's reality. But how you respond shapes whether that moment breaks you or builds you. When you react impulsively, you often create more damage than the original problem. You say things you regret. You act out of anger. You shut down and isolate. But when you respond from a grounded place, you stay in control of the moment. You don't let temporary emotions create long-term consequences. You stay rooted in your values rather than pulled by your emotions. Emotional discipline is not about being robotic. It's about being deliberate. It's the ability to feel fully without being ruled by what you feel. It means recognizing when you're triggered and choosing not to add fuel to the fire. You don't deny the feeling, but you direct it. You use it to understand yourself better. You ask, why am I reacting this way, instead of immediately acting on it? That question alone can stop you from making the wrong move. It creates space between emotion and reaction, and in that space is wisdom. It's easy to believe that your environment determines your peace, but peace is not found in perfect conditions. It's found in how you manage yourself under pressure. Some people have everything but still live in conflict because they haven't learned to regulate themselves. Others have little, but they carry peace within them because they refuse to let outer chaos define their inner state. That kind of peace comes from the decision to stay calm when it would be easier to blame, from the discipline to respond with reason when your emotions want to explode. That's not something you're born with. That's something you train every day. You train it by catching yourself in moments of stress. When someone cuts you off in traffic, when a colleague speaks to you disrespectfully, when a plan falls apart, these are your training grounds. Instead of reacting blindly, notice what's happening in your body. Your heart races, your muscles tense, your thoughts speed up. Don't resist it, just observe. Then choose your response. It may be silence. It may be a calm conversation. It may be walking away. Whatever it is, choose it from clarity, not from chaos. Every moment you choose a calm response, you strengthen your self-control. You begin to trust yourself more. You stop fearing your emotions because you know they don't control you. That trust is power. It gives you stability even when life feels unstable. And with that stability, you can lead better, love better, work better, and live better, because you're no longer at the mercy of what the world throws at you. You're guided by your own principles, not your temporary emotions. People often say, "That's just how I am." But that's not true. That's just how you've trained yourself to be. You can train a different way. You can train yourself to pause before reacting, to choose understanding over assumption, to use frustration as a signal rather than a weapon. These are not small changes. They reshape your entire life, because your reaction in one moment can change the direction of everything that follows. A calm word can stop an argument. A patient response can save a relationship. A grounded decision can open new doors. You won't always get it right. There will be moments when you react poorly, when your emotions get the better of you. That's part of the process. The key is not perfection, it's progress. When you fall short, don't justify it. Reflect on it. Ask yourself what triggered it. Learn from it, then adjust. That's how you build emotional strength, not by pretending you're unaffected, but by choosing to grow every time you're tested. The world does not owe you fairness. People will not always act with kindness. Life will bring pressure, but none of that has to steal your power unless you let it. You can be the kind of person who stays centered in chaos, who listens when others shout, who responds with calm when others react with fear. That kind of presence changes everything. It earns respect. It builds trust. It creates stability in a world that constantly shifts. The moment you decide to stop blaming and start owning is the moment you begin to take your life back. It's not an easy path, but it's a free one. You are no longer tied to other people's behavior. You are no longer a prisoner of every trigger. You are no longer defined by your past reactions. You are free to choose, free to lead, free to change. Not because the world changed, but because you did, and that change will create ripple effects far beyond what you can see right now. Control your reactions, and you'll begin to control your future. Chapter 11. Make time to read and think every day. The act of reading and thinking daily is one of the simplest yet most powerful habits you can build to transform your life. In a world filled with constant noise and distractions, carving out time for quiet reflection and absorbing knowledge is essential for growth. Many people underestimate the impact of these practices because they seem passive or slow compared to the fast pace of life. However, real growth requires depth, not speed. Taking time to read expands your understanding beyond your immediate experience. Taking time to think allows you to connect ideas, solve problems, and understand yourself better. Together, these habits sharpen your mind and strengthen your capacity to handle life's challenges. Reading is more than just entertainment or passing time. It is a direct line to the thoughts and experiences of others who have walked paths before you. Books offer lessons that no one else can teach you in the same way. When you read daily, you gain new perspectives that challenge your assumptions and broaden your horizons. You encounter ideas that push you to rethink old patterns and consider new possibilities. Over time, these new insights build a mental toolbox that helps you navigate complex situations with greater wisdom and confidence. Thinking deeply is often overlooked, but just as crucial. It is easy to fall into the trap of reacting to whatever comes your way without pause. Without intentional thinking, your mind becomes cluttered with superficial thoughts, anxieties, and distractions. When you dedicate time to think, you create space to process your experiences, make sense of your emotions, and plan your next steps with clarity. This habit of reflection strengthens your decision-making and helps you avoid repeating mistakes. It makes your actions more intentional and aligned with your true goals. Consistency is the key. You don't need to read for hours every day. Even 15 to 30 minutes of focused reading can make a profound difference when done regularly. Choose material that challenges and inspires you rather than just distracts. Non-fiction books, articles on topics that matter to you, or writings from great thinkers will stretch your mind. Reading should not be passive. Engage with the content by asking questions, taking notes, or discussing what you've learned with others. This engagement deepens understanding and helps information stick. The same goes for thinking. Make time every day to reflect without interruptions. It might be in the morning before your day begins, or in the evening when things slow down. Use this time to review what you learned, what challenges you faced, and what you want to improve. Ask yourself honest questions. What is holding me back? What can I do differently tomorrow? Where am I heading? These moments of self-inquiry turn scattered thoughts into clear intentions. Over time, they develop a mindset focused on growth and resilience. Reading and thinking daily also build mental discipline. When you create this habit, you teach yourself to focus despite distractions. In a world that competes for your attention with social media, news, and endless noise, choosing to read and think is an act of self-control. It sends a message to your brain that you value growth more than momentary pleasure. This repeated choice strengthens your ability to concentrate and resist impulses that pull you away from your goals. Another benefit of daily reading and thinking is how it shapes your character. Exposure to diverse ideas fosters empathy and understanding. Reflecting on your experiences encourages humility and self-awareness. These qualities deepen your relationships and improve how you handle conflict and stress. You become more patient with yourself and others. You learn to listen more carefully and speak more thoughtfully. The knowledge gained from reading combined with thoughtful reflection creates a balanced, mature mindset. Incorporating these habits into your life requires deliberate effort. Start by setting aside a specific time each day dedicated to reading and thinking. Treat this time as non-negotiable, like a meeting with yourself. Minimize distractions by turning off your phone or finding a quiet space. Choose materials that genuinely interest and challenge you, so that reading feels like a rewarding experience. Keep a journal to capture your reflections, questions, and insights. Writing deepens your thinking and creates a record of your growth journey. Some days will be harder than others. You may feel tired or distracted, but it's important to show up anyway. Even a few minutes count. Over time, these small actions create momentum that carries you forward. You will find that your thoughts become clearer, your decisions more confident, and your understanding deeper. Your ability to solve problems and face challenges will strengthen. This daily investment in your mind pays off in every area of your life. Reading and thinking are also powerful antidotes to overwhelm. When life feels chaotic, stepping back to absorb new ideas and reflect helps you regain perspective. It reminds you that you are more than your immediate problems. It reconnects you with your long-term vision and values. This clarity reduces anxiety and stress because you see your situation in a broader context. You recognize opportunities you may have missed and gain the courage to take meaningful action. Finally, this habit teaches patience. Growth is not instant. Knowledge and wisdom accumulate over time like compound interest. The small daily deposits of reading and thinking build a rich mental and emotional reserve. When challenges arise, you draw from this reserve rather than reacting blindly. You approach problems with calm and creativity. You become resilient because you have prepared your mind to withstand difficulties rather than collapse under them. Make reading and thinking your daily priority. Let them become the foundation of your personal growth. Protect this time fiercely because it is where your future is created. This is not just about accumulating facts, but about transforming how you see yourself and the world. It's about becoming a lifelong learner and a thoughtful doer. This habit connects you to wisdom, clarity, and strength. It empowers you to live with intention and purpose every day. Commit to it, and you will build a life of depth, meaning, and lasting progress. Chapter 12. Take action quickly instead of waiting for motivation. Waiting for motivation is one of the biggest traps that keep people stuck. Motivation is unpredictable. It comes and goes, like the weather. Some days you wake up feeling energized and ready to conquer the world. Other days, even getting out of bed feels like a challenge. If you wait for motivation to strike before you act, you will often find yourself waiting forever. Real progress comes from action, not feelings. Action creates momentum. Momentum fuels motivation. When you take action quickly, you don't rely on fleeting emotions. You build a habit of doing what needs to be done regardless of how you feel in the moment. Starting is always the hardest part. That first step often feels overwhelming because your mind focuses on the whole task instead of just the next small move. Taking action quickly means breaking things down into manageable pieces and committing to doing the next right thing immediately. Don't wait for the perfect moment, perfect mood, or perfect plan. Start with what you have. Start where you are. Starting creates movement and momentum that pushes you forward. It breaks the cycle of procrastination and indecision that kills progress. Action is the antidote to fear and doubt. When you wait for motivation, your mind amplifies reasons not to start. You question yourself, your skills, your circumstances. But when you act, you interrupt that negative cycle. You prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you believed. Action builds confidence. Each small success creates evidence that you can trust yourself. This trust becomes the foundation for sustained effort and greater challenges. Taking quick action also sharpens your focus. When you move immediately, your brain shifts from analyzing and worrying to doing. You enter a state of flow where distractions fade and your energy concentrates on the task at hand. This focus improves the quality of your work and shortens the time it takes to achieve your goals. The longer you wait, the more your mind drifts toward excuses and distractions. Immediate action protects you from these traps and keeps you on track. This practice transforms your mindset. Instead of seeing motivation as a prerequisite, you learn to create motivation through doing. Action produces results. Results produce satisfaction. Satisfaction produces motivation. This positive feedback loop builds unstoppable momentum. You no longer rely on willpower alone, because your habit of immediate action sustains your effort even when your energy is low. It's important to recognize that action does not mean rushing blindly. It means starting with intention and commitment. It means focusing on progress rather than perfection. Your first step doesn't need to be perfect or complete. It needs to be taken. Perfectionism is often disguised as waiting for motivation. It paralyzes you with unrealistic standards and fear of failure. Taking action quickly frees you from this paralysis. It lets you learn as you go, adapt and improve. Every action teaches you something new that moving forward requires. One powerful way to practice this is to set clear, simple goals with immediate next steps. Instead of vague plans like "I want to get fit," decide exactly what you will do today, such as "I will walk for 15 minutes after breakfast." Commit to starting that right now, or as soon as you finish reading. The clarity of a next step eliminates hesitation. When you focus on what's immediately achievable, your brain feels safe to move forward without resistance. Another effective technique is to use a timer or countdown. When you feel stuck, tell yourself you will start in 30 seconds. Count down and begin moving before your mind can invent reasons not. This simple trick interrupts procrastination by leveraging the brief moment of decision before doubt arrives. Starting even a small action changes your mindset from resistance to engagement. Action builds resilience. When you take steps quickly, you experience challenges and setbacks sooner rather than later. This early feedback lets you adjust your approach, learn from mistakes, and build grit. Waiting for motivation delays this important process and makes obstacles seem bigger and scarier than they really are. The more you act, the more you grow comfortable with discomfort. You become stronger because you practice pushing through resistance instead of avoiding it. You also develop a sense of responsibility when you act quickly. You stop blaming circumstances, others, or lack of motivation for your lack of progress. Instead, you become accountable to yourself. This accountability increases your integrity and self-respect. You build a reputation with yourself for following through. That internal reputation is powerful because it shapes how you show up in every area of life. Taking action quickly rewires your brain to be a doer rather than a thinker stuck in endless planning. Thinking has its place, but overthinking creates doubt and delay. When you act, you provide your brain with clear signals that progress matters more than overanalyzing. This rewiring improves your decision-making and reduces the mental burden of worry and hesitation. It's important to celebrate the small wins that come from taking immediate action. Each step forward is a victory that deserves recognition. Celebrating these moments fuels your motivation and reminds you of your ability to move forward. Don't wait for the big accomplishments to feel successful. Success is built one choice, one action at a time. If you struggle with motivation, change your focus from how you feel to what you do. Feelings follow actions, not the other way around. Commit to acting even when you don't feel like it. Trust that your energy and enthusiasm will grow once you start. This trust grows stronger with experience as you see consistent results from your effort. Surround yourself with people who value action. Influence matters. When you engage with those who take initiative, you are more likely to mirror that behavior. Avoid environments and conversations that reinforce waiting or complaining. Seek communities that encourage moving forward, learning from mistakes and persistent effort. Remember, every day offers opportunities to take action. Don't waste these moments waiting for the perfect mood. Move now. Start small. Build momentum. Keep going. Each action you take rewires your habits and your identity. You become the kind of person who doesn't wait for motivation because you create it through doing. That shift changes your life completely because it puts you in control of your progress and your future. Commit to taking action quickly. Let it be your default response to challenges and opportunities. Train yourself to start immediately. Focus deeply and adjust as you learn. This habit will carry you through uncertainty, setbacks, and doubt. It will make you unstoppable because you no longer depend on external feelings to drive you. Instead, you rely on your own power to create momentum and achieve lasting growth. Chapter 13. Respect your time and use it with intention. Time is the most precious resource you have. Unlike money or possessions, it cannot be earned back once spent. Every moment that passes is gone forever, and how you use that moment shapes your entire life. Respecting your time means treating it as valuable, not disposable. It means understanding that how you spend your time directly influences your growth, happiness, and success. Using your time with intention requires awareness, discipline, and clear priorities. Without this respect, days slip away filled with distractions, regret, and wasted potential. Many people drift through their day without a plan, reacting to whatever pulls their attention. This is a fast track to feeling overwhelmed, unproductive, and dissatisfied. When you don't control your time, others will control it for you. Tasks that don't align with your goals fill your schedule. Social media, endless emails, and unnecessary meetings consume hours. You end up exhausted but with little progress. Respecting your time means choosing what deserves your attention and what doesn't. It means saying no to low-value activities and yes to what truly matters. To use your time with intention, you must first know your priorities. What are your highest values and goals? What activities align with your vision for your life? When these are clear, time management becomes less about cramming tasks and more about making space for what counts. You protect that space fiercely because you understand its value. You realize that every minute spent working toward your goals is an investment in your future. Intentional time use means planning your day with purpose. It's not about rigid schedules, but about setting clear intentions for how you want to spend your time. Start each day by deciding your top priorities and focusing your energy there. This practice guards against mindless scrolling or being pulled into distractions. It helps you move closer to your goals, steadily rather than spinning your wheels. Respecting your time also means setting boundaries. You must protect your schedule from interruptions and distractions. This can be difficult because the world demands your attention constantly. Phones ring, notifications ping, and people ask for your time. Learning to say no or delay responses when needed is crucial. Boundaries create the space you need to focus deeply and produce your best work. Without them, your time is fragmented and your effectiveness diminishes. Using your time intentionally requires discipline. It's easy to lose focus or give in to temptation. Distractions are designed to grab your attention because they benefit others, not you. The more you respect your time, the better you become at recognizing these traps and avoiding them. You develop habits that protect your focus, such as turning off notifications, scheduling breaks, and working in distraction-free environments. Another key to respecting your time is learning to delegate or eliminate tasks that don't require your direct involvement. Many people waste hours on low-impact activities simply because they haven't prioritized or streamlined their responsibilities. Freeing yourself from these tasks creates more space for meaningful work and rest. It's a sign of maturity to know when to ask for help or let go of less important demands. Intentional time use also includes regular reflection. Taking time to review how you spent your day or week helps you identify areas where time was wasted or well used. This awareness enables you to adjust and improve continually. Without reflection, it's easy to repeat the same unproductive patterns. Reflection ensures that your time management evolves with your goals and circumstances. Respect for time extends to how you handle downtime and rest. Using time intentionally doesn't mean working non-stop. Rest and recovery are essential parts of a productive life. When you respect your time, you schedule rest deliberately rather than letting fatigue force you into it. Quality rest replenishes your energy and creativity, making your working hours more effective. Balance between work and rest is a mark of wisdom in time management. Living with intentionality also transforms your relationship with deadlines and commitments. You meet your responsibilities with focus and preparation because you honor the time you have been given. This reliability builds trust with others and reduces stress caused by last-minute rushes. When you respect time, you value your word and show respect for others' time as well. Every moment you spend mindful of your time adds up to a life that feels meaningful and productive. The habit of respecting time builds confidence because you see real progress in what matters. It also increases your satisfaction because you control how your life unfolds instead of feeling pushed by circumstances. Time well used creates freedom, the freedom to choose your path and shape your future. Ultimately, respecting your time is an act of self-respect. It means valuing your own life and potential enough to guard the hours you have. It means living consciously rather than on autopilot. It means committing to daily choices that align with your highest goals and deepest values. This commitment shapes your character and builds a foundation for lasting success. Choose each day to treat your time as the treasure it is. Make deliberate decisions about what you allow into your schedule. Protect your focus from distractions and fragmentation. Build habits that support sustained attention and meaningful action. Reflect regularly and adjust as needed. Balance work with rest to maintain energy and clarity. Honor commitments with preparation and respect. This way, you use your time not just to get through the day, but create a life of purpose and impact. Respecting your time is a skill you develop through consistent practice. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Soon, intentional time use is no longer a chore, but a way of life. It empowers you to accomplish what matters most without feeling overwhelmed or scattered. It frees you from regret over wasted hours and replaces it with pride in how you live. This respect for time elevates every area of your life and helps you become the person you aspire to be. Live today as if you truly value every moment, because you do. Use your time intentionally, protect it fiercely, and watch how your life transforms. The moments you invest wisely build a future filled with meaning, achievement, and fulfillment. Chapter 14. Stop comparing yourself and focus on your path. Comparing yourself to others is a trap that robs you of peace and progress. When you focus on what others have or where they are, you lose sight of your unique journey and potential. Every person's path is different, shaped by experiences, values, and timing. Constantly measuring your worth against someone else's achievements only breeds frustration, self-doubt, and distraction. The moment you stop comparing and start focusing on your own path, you reclaim your energy and clarity. You become free to grow in your own way at your own pace, without unnecessary pressure or envy. The problem with comparison is that it is based on incomplete information. You see others' success, but rarely their struggles, sacrifices, or failures. Social media, conversations, and appearances highlight the highlight reels, not the full story. This creates unrealistic standards that you can never fully reach. When you accept this, you can stop trying to match others and instead focus on your authentic progress. Real success is personal and relative to your goals, not a competition against someone else. Focusing on your path means knowing yourself deeply. It requires identifying what truly matters to you, rather than what society or others tell you to want. When your goals come from your values and passions, motivation becomes internal and sustainable. You no longer chase achievements for approval or comparison, but for fulfillment. This clarity brings peace, because you are no longer caught in a race that drains your spirit, but walking a path that nourishes your soul. Your path is not linear, and it is not perfect. Everyone faces setbacks, detours, and doubts. When you compare, these obstacles can feel like failures, but on your own path, they are necessary lessons and growth points. Embracing your unique journey means accepting imperfection and resilience. It means trusting the timing of your life even when it looks different from others. This trust reduces anxiety and impatience, allowing you to keep moving forward even through challenges. Comparison also wastes energy that you could use for improvement. Instead of envying others or feeling inadequate, channel that energy into your own growth. Set small, achievable goals that reflect your values and strengths. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small, and acknowledge your efforts. This shifts your focus from external validation to internal satisfaction. Growth becomes a personal journey of mastery rather than a contest of status. Building this mindset requires awareness and practice. Notice when you catch yourself comparing and pause. Ask yourself what impact this thought is having on your mood and motivation. Then deliberately redirect your attention to your goals and actions. Journaling can help by capturing your achievements and reflections to remind you of your progress. Surround yourself with people who support your growth, rather than feed competition. Seek inspiration from others, without letting it become a measuring stick. It's also important to practice self-compassion. Comparing often leads to harsh self-judgment. Treat yourself with the same kindness you would offer a friend. Recognize your efforts and progress without demanding perfection. Self-compassion strengthens resilience and keeps you motivated through setbacks. It creates a foundation of self-acceptance that comparison tries to erode. Remember that your worth is not determined by how you rank against others. You are valuable simply because you exist and have unique contributions. When you stop comparing, you allow yourself to shine authentically without trying to fit a mold or meet external expectations. This authenticity attracts genuine connections and opportunities aligned with your true self. Focus on your path by setting clear intentions for what you want to achieve and who you want to become. Create a vision that excites and motivates you. Break this vision into daily actions and habits that move you closer step by step. Let your progress be measured by your own standards and fulfillment. This personalized approach to growth is sustainable and fulfilling. Celebrate the uniqueness of your journey. There is no one else like you. With your combination of talents, experiences, and perspective, your path holds gifts that no comparison can replicate. When you embrace this, you develop confidence and joy in your growth. You become a source of inspiration for others by living authentically rather than chasing someone else's version of success. Stop comparing today. Make a conscious choice to focus your time, energy, and thoughts on your own path. Protect your mental space from distractions and social pressures that invite comparison. Fill your mind with positive affirmations of your worth and progress. Commit to living intentionally and authentically each day. This shift will change how you see yourself and your potential. You will find freedom from envy and frustration. You will find motivation that comes from within. You will find peace in knowing your journey is enough. This freedom fuels creativity, courage, and resilience that comparison can never provide. Your path is your power. Respect it, nurture it, and watch your life transform in ways that comparison never could. Chapter 15. Listen more than you speak in every conversation. Listening more than speaking is a skill that few truly master, yet it holds immense power to transform relationships, deepen understanding, and expand wisdom. In every conversation, when you choose to listen first and speak less, you open a door to genuine connection and insight that many miss. Speaking less allows you to absorb not just words, but emotions, intentions, and unspoken truths. It creates space for others to express themselves fully and feel valued. Listening with intent shows respect and empathy, which builds trust and strengthens bonds. Many people focus on preparing their next comment instead of fully hearing the person in front of them. This habit leads to shallow interactions where true communication breaks down. When you listen more, you shift your attention from yourself to the other person. This shift opens your mind and heart to perspectives that may differ from your own. You gain understanding that challenges your assumptions and enriches your worldview. Listening becomes a gateway to learning, growth, and meaningful connection. True listening requires patience and presence. It means putting aside distractions and judgments to be fully engaged in the moment. When you listen attentively, you show that the other person matters. This attention encourages openness and honesty. People naturally share more when they feel heard without interruption or evaluation. Listening creates a safe space where ideas and feelings flow freely. This safety fosters deeper conversations and authentic relationships. Listening more than speaking also improves your ability to respond thoughtfully. When you listen carefully, you gather the information needed to address concerns effectively. You avoid misunderstandings that often arise from rushing to reply or assuming what others mean. Thoughtful responses demonstrate respect and consideration, which encourages cooperation and positive outcomes. In contrast, talking more than listening can lead to conflict, miscommunication, and missed opportunities. Cultivating this habit requires humility. It means acknowledging that you do not have all the answers and that others' perspectives are valuable. Listening invites you to learn rather than teach. This openness enhances your wisdom and adaptability. The more you listen, the more you discover about human nature, motivations, and complexities. This understanding makes you a better friend, colleague, leader, and partner. Listening also reveals subtleties beyond words. tone of voice, body language, and pauses carry meaning that enrich communication. When you pay attention to these cues, you perceive feelings and intentions that might be hidden. This sensitivity deepens empathy and emotional intelligence. It helps you respond, not just logically, but compassionately. People sense this empathy and feel genuinely understood, which strengthens trust and rapport. Another benefit of listening more is the ability to learn from silence. In conversations, silence often feels uncomfortable, prompting people to fill the gap with words. Yet silence allows thoughts to settle and meaning to emerge. When you resist the urge to speak immediately, you give yourself and others space to process. This pause can lead to clearer insights and more meaningful dialogue. Listening to silence becomes a tool for deeper reflection and connection. Listening enhances your self-awareness as well. By focusing on others' words and feelings, you become more aware of your own reactions, biases, and assumptions. This awareness enables you to manage your responses with greater control and kindness. You learn when to speak and when to hold back. You develop emotional regulation that prevents conflicts and fosters harmony. Listening helps you become a calmer, more centered presence in any interaction. This practice strengthens leadership qualities. Leaders who listen well inspire loyalty and respect. They gather diverse viewpoints before making decisions, which leads to better outcomes. Listening leaders empower others by valuing their input and creating inclusive environments. They build teams that trust and support one another. The power of listening in leadership lies in its ability to unite people around shared goals and values. Listening more than speaking requires intentional effort in today's fast-paced world. Distractions, social media, and multitasking pull your attention away from true engagement. To counter this, commit to being fully present in every conversation. Put away devices and focus solely on the person before you. Practice mindfulness to train your attention. Remind yourself that listening is a gift you give and receive. It also means resisting the temptation to dominate discussions or interrupt. Allow others to finish their thoughts without jumping in. Ask open-ended questions that encourage deeper sharing rather than steering the conversation toward your agenda. Paraphrase and summarize what you hear to confirm understanding. These techniques demonstrate respect and ensure clarity. Listening more than speaking transforms how you relate to others and yourself. It creates a foundation of trust, respect, and empathy that enriches every interaction. You become a better learner, thinker, and communicator. Your relationships deepen and become more meaningful. You experience less conflict and more cooperation. The simple choice to listen first opens a world of growth and connection that words alone cannot achieve. Make listening your default mode in every conversation. Treat it as an active practice that requires focus and intention. Let silence be your friend and curiosity your guide. Value the perspectives and stories others share as windows into different worlds. In doing so, you cultivate wisdom, kindness, and understanding that elevate your life and the lives of those around you. Each time you listen more than you speak, you contribute to a culture of respect and genuine communication. This ripple effect spreads beyond one conversation to your entire life. You become a source of calm, insight, and support in a noisy world. Listening well is a powerful way to lead, love, and grow. Embrace this habit and watch your relationships and personal growth flourish in ways you never imagined possible. Chapter 16. Practice gratitude, even when life feels unfair. Gratitude is a powerful practice that transforms how you experience life, especially when circumstances seem unfair or challenging. It does not mean ignoring difficulties or pretending everything is perfect. Instead, it means choosing to focus on what is good and meaningful despite hardships. Practicing gratitude shifts your attention from what is missing or wrong to what is present and valuable. This shift opens your mind and heart to positivity and resilience. Gratitude creates a foundation for emotional strength and mental clarity that helps you navigate difficult times with grace. Life often feels unfair. Situations arise that test your patience, courage, and faith. When faced with these moments, it is natural to feel frustration, sadness, or anger. These emotions are valid and part of being human. However, letting them dominate your thoughts and reactions can trap you in negativity and despair. Gratitude offers an alternative way to respond. It encourages you to look beyond the immediate pain and recognize that even in struggle, there are reasons to appreciate and be thankful. Practicing gratitude in hard times builds resilience. It strengthens your ability to cope with stress by reminding you that your life contains sources of hope and joy. These sources might be as simple as a kind gesture, a breath of fresh air, or a memory that brings comfort. Focusing on these positives reduces the power of adversity over your mood and outlook. It helps you maintain a balanced perspective where challenges are real but not all defining. Gratitude also changes your brain chemistry. Studies show that regularly expressing gratitude increases dopamine and serotonin levels, chemicals that boost happiness and well-being. This natural mood lift makes it easier to face difficulties with calmness and optimism. Over time, gratitude rewires your brain to notice and appreciate good things more easily, creating a positive feedback loop. This means that practicing gratitude is not just a mental exercise, but a way to reprogram your emotional habits for the better. This practice requires intention and consistency. Gratitude does not always come naturally, especially when life feels unfair. You must actively seek what to be thankful for each day. One effective way is to keep a gratitude journal where you write down 3 things you appreciate daily. These can be small or large, ordinary or extraordinary. The act of writing reinforces your awareness and creates a record you can revisit when times are tough. This habit trains your mind to find light even in darkness. Gratitude deepens your relationships. When you express appreciation to others, you strengthen bonds and foster kindness. Sharing gratitude reminds you of the support and love around you, which can be a powerful source of comfort in difficult moments. It also encourages others to show gratitude, creating a cycle of positive connection. Recognizing the good in others shifts your focus from isolation to community and shared humanity. Practicing gratitude helps you embrace acceptance. Life will not always be fair or easy, but gratitude allows you to accept what is without resignation. It is an active choice to find meaning and growth in hardship rather than resisting or resenting. Acceptance grounded in gratitude reduces suffering by easing resistance to reality. It opens space for healing and constructive action instead of bitterness or denial. Gratitude encourages humility. It reminds you that your life is part of a larger web of support and fortune. Recognizing the contributions of others and circumstances beyond your control cultivates a sense of interconnectedness and respect. This humility protects against entitlement and comparison, making your journey more peaceful and fulfilling. Even small moments of gratitude can have profound effects. Appreciating a sunrise, a smile, or a moment of peace connects you to the present and shifts your mind from worry to wonder. These moments accumulate to create a mindset where gratitude becomes a natural response rather than a forced effort. This mindset anchors you in positivity regardless of external challenges. When life feels unfair, practicing gratitude is not about minimizing pain, but about strengthening your capacity to endure and grow. It helps you see that suffering does not erase the good in your life. Instead, gratitude grenelles that good and bad coexist, and your choice is where to place your attention. This choice shapes your experience and influences how you respond to life's difficulties. Gratitude empowers you to reclaim your narrative. Instead of seeing yourself as a victim of circumstance, you become an active participant in your story who acknowledges both struggles and blessings. This empowerment creates hope and motivates you to keep moving forward with courage and faith. Make gratitude a daily discipline. Begin each day by acknowledging something you are thankful for. Throughout the day, notice and appreciate acts of kindness, beauty, or progress. Before sleep, reflect on what went well or what you learned. This rhythm of gratitude nourishes your soul and builds resilience against despair. In practicing gratitude, you become a beacon of light for others. Your appreciation and positivity inspire those around you to find their own reasons for thankfulness. This ripple effect spreads hope and strength beyond your immediate circle. Gratitude transforms your life by shifting your focus from scarcity to abundance. It makes your challenges more manageable and your joys more vivid. It deepens your connections and strengthens your spirit. Even when life feels unfair, gratitude offers a path to peace, growth, and lasting happiness. Choose this path daily and watch how your perspective, emotions, and life itself change in profound ways. Chapter 17. Move your body daily to sharpen your mind. Moving your body every day is one of the most effective ways to enhance not only your physical health, but also your mental clarity and sharpness. Physical activity stimulates the brain, improving cognitive functions like memory, attention, and problem-solving skills. The connection between exercise and brain health is profound and backed by extensive research. When you commit to moving regularly, you unlock benefits that go far beyond the obvious improvements in strength or endurance. Your mind becomes more alert, focused, and resilient. Daily movement increases blood flow throughout your body, including your brain. This improved circulation delivers oxygen and nutrients that are essential for optimal brain function. It helps clear out toxins and promotes the growth of new brain cells, a process known as neurogenesis. This biological impact translates to better memory retention, quicker thinking, and enhanced creativity. Moving your body regularly sets the stage for a sharper, more agile mind. Exercise also stimulates the release of neurotransmitters such as dopamine and serotonin, which regulate mood and motivation. These chemicals reduce stress and anxiety, allowing your mind to operate more calmly and effectively. When your brain is less clouded by worry or fatigue, you can concentrate more deeply and make clearer decisions. This mental clarity supports learning and productivity, helping you tackle daily challenges with confidence. Consistent physical activity builds resilience to mental fatigue. Just as your muscles get stronger with use, your brain becomes more capable of sustained focus and endurance through regular movement. This stamina makes it easier to maintain attention during complex tasks and reduces mental errors. When you move your body daily, you develop a mind that can push through distractions and stay engaged longer. The type of movement you choose can vary depending on your preferences and physical condition. Walking, stretching, yoga, dancing, swimming, or strength training all contribute to brain health. The key is consistency and making movement a daily habit. Even short bursts of activity spread throughout the day can add up to significant cognitive benefits. Regular movement breaks improve energy levels and prevent the sluggishness that comes from prolonged sitting. Movement also supports better sleep, which is vital for mental sharpness. Quality sleep consolidates memories and clears mental clutter. Physical activity helps regulate your sleep patterns by balancing hormones and reducing restlessness. When you sleep well, your brain functions at its best during waking hours. This cycle of movement and restful sleep fuels sustained cognitive performance. Physical activity enhances brain plasticity, the ability to adapt and reorganize neural connections. This adaptability is crucial for learning new skills, recovering from setbacks, and maintaining mental agility as you age. Moving your body daily strengthens these neural pathways, helping you remain flexible and open to new experiences. This flexibility supports problem-solving and creative thinking. Engaging in movement also provides a mental break from work or stress. It shifts your focus away from worries and refreshes your mind. This reset allows you to return to tasks with renewed energy and perspective. Movement breaks stimulate your brain by introducing variety and novelty, which combat monotony and mental fatigue. Daily movement promotes a positive feedback loop between body and mind. As your physical health improves, you gain confidence and motivation to keep going. This increased motivation fuels mental focus and persistence in other areas of life. The sense of accomplishment from consistent movement enhances your overall well-being and mindset. To maximize the cognitive benefits of movement, approach it with mindfulness. Pay attention to how your body feels, the rhythm of your breath, and the sensations in your muscles. This mindful movement deepens the connection between body and mind and enhances relaxation. Mindful exercise reduces mental clutter and sharpens awareness, boosting your ability to concentrate. You can also use movement as an opportunity for reflection and creativity. Activities like walking or stretching often stimulate ideas and problem-solving by allowing your mind to wander productively. These moments can lead to breakthroughs or new perspectives that improve your work and personal life. Making movement a daily priority requires intentionality and planning. Schedule time for it as you would any important task. Choose activities you enjoy to increase the likelihood of consistency. Track your progress and celebrate milestones to maintain motivation. Over time, moving your body becomes a natural and rewarding part of your routine. Avoid seeing movement as a chore or obligation. Instead, view it as an investment in your mental and physical capacity. This mindset shift changes how you approach exercise and sustains long-term commitment. The benefits you gain in mental sharpness, emotional balance, and energy make movement one of the most valuable habits you can develop. Your mind thrives on variety, challenge, and stimulation. Movement provides all three in different forms, from the rhythm of walking to the coordination required in dance or the strength needed for resistance training. These diverse stimuli keep your brain active and engaged. Mixing different types of movement also prevents boredom and promotes balanced development. Even on busy days, finding moments to move is possible and beneficial. Simple actions like standing, stretching, or taking a short walk recharge your brain and body. These micro-movements accumulate to support sustained mental performance and prevent fatigue. Integrating movement seamlessly into your day helps you maintain sharpness without disrupting your schedule. In summary, daily movement sharpens your mind by improving blood flow, releasing mood-enhancing chemicals, building cognitive endurance, and enhancing neural plasticity. It supports restful sleep and provides mental breaks that refresh focus. Mindful movement deepens the connection between body and mind and stimulates creativity. Making movement a priority with intention and enjoyment transforms your brain function and overall well-being. Choosing to move your body every day is choosing to invest in your mental clarity, resilience, and growth. This simple yet powerful habit unlocks energy and focus that improve every aspect of your life. The discipline of consistent movement builds a mind that is alert, adaptable, and ready to meet any challenge. By committing to daily movement, you create a foundation for lifelong mental sharpness and vitality. Chapter 18. Face your fears instead of running from them. Fear is one of the most powerful emotions we experience, and it often shapes our decisions and actions in ways we don't fully realize. When fear appears, the instinct to run or avoid the source is natural, but this avoidance rarely solves the underlying issue. Running from fear only strengthens its hold and limits your growth and potential. Facing your fears directly is the path to freedom and empowerment. It is a courageous choice that leads to personal transformation and resilience. Fear signals uncertainty and risk. It alerts you to potential danger or discomfort. However, not all fears are accurate reflections of reality. Many fears stem from assumptions, past experiences, or imagined scenarios that may never happen. Distinguishing between realistic concerns and irrational fears is essential. Facing your fears requires this clarity to respond wisely instead of reacting blindly. Avoiding fear creates a cycle of limitation. Each time you run from a fear, it grows stronger and more intimidating. Your mind associates the fear with threat and helplessness, reinforcing avoidance behaviors. This cycle narrows your world and reduces your ability to handle challenges. Over time, fear can control your choices, preventing you from pursuing opportunities and living fully. Facing fear means acknowledging it without judgment. It means recognizing the sensation of fear in your body and mind, but refusing to let it dictate your actions. This acknowledgement is a form of self-mastery. You take ownership of your emotional experience rather than being a passive victim. This shift in perspective builds confidence and courage. Confronting fear requires gradual exposure. It rarely happens overnight or through a single bold act. Start by identifying specific fears and breaking them into manageable parts. Take small steps toward what scares you, increasing your tolerance over time. Each step forward weakens fear's grip and strengthens your courage muscles. This process of deliberate practice leads to lasting change. Fear often masks opportunities for growth. When you face what scares you, you discover hidden strengths and resources. Challenges that once seemed overwhelming become chances to learn resilience, problem-solving, and self-trust. Overcoming fear reveals your capacity to adapt and thrive in uncertainty. This empowerment spills into other areas of life, creating momentum for continuous growth. Facing fear also deepens self-awareness. You learn about your triggers, thought patterns, and emotional responses. This knowledge allows you to manage fear proactively instead of being caught off guard. Understanding fear's role in your life helps you differentiate between protective instincts and limiting beliefs. This awareness is a foundation for emotional intelligence and mature decision-making. Choosing to face fear does not mean ignoring safety or wisdom. It means balancing caution with action. Assess risks realistically and prepare accordingly. Courage is not reckless bravery, but thoughtful persistence. This balanced approach prevents unnecessary harm while expanding your comfort zone. Facing fear with wisdom leads to sustainable progress and confidence. Facing fear strengthens your resilience. Each encounter with fear that you manage successfully builds emotional stamina. You develop a mindset that views challenges as manageable rather than threatening. This mindset makes you more adaptable and less reactive to stress. Resilience gained from facing fear supports mental health and overall well-being. Fear can be transformed into motivation. When you shift your perspective, fear signals areas for growth and opportunity. Use fear as a compass guiding you toward what matters most. Let fear inspire action rather than paralysis. This transformation turns a negative force into a catalyst for positive change. Facing fear improves your relationships. Fear often isolates because it encourages secrecy or avoidance. When you confront fear openly, you model vulnerability and courage. This openness invites connection and support from others. Shared experiences of facing fear build trust and deepen bonds. Practice breathing and grounding technique to manage fear's physical effects. Fear triggers fight, flight, or freeze responses that can overwhelm. Deep breathing, mindfulness, and focusing on the present moment calm your nervous system and clear your mind. These tools create space between feeling fear and choosing your response. Reflect on past fears you have overcome. Remembering successes builds confidence and reminds you that fear is conquerable. Use these memories as motivation when facing new fears. This perspective reinforces a growth mindset that embraces challenges as part of life's journey. Surround yourself with supportive people who encourage facing fear. Isolation increases anxiety and avoidance. Trusted friends, mentors, or coaches provide perspective, encouragement, and accountability. Their support makes the process less daunting and more achievable. Accept that fear may never fully disappear. The goal is not to eliminate fear, but to live despite it. Courage is acting in the presence of fear, not the absence. This acceptance reduces frustration and self-criticism, fostering patience and compassion toward yourself. Facing fear enriches your life by expanding your horizons. It opens doors to experiences, relationships, and achievements that fear would otherwise block. Living courageously leads to greater freedom, satisfaction, and self-respect. This expansion creates a life aligned with your true potential and values. Commit to facing your fears regularly. Make it a lifelong practice that grows your courage and wisdom. Each encounter with fear is a step toward mastery of yourself and your life. This commitment transforms fear from a barrier into a bridge to growth. In every moment of fear, remember you have the power to choose. You can choose to run or to face. Choosing to face fear builds strength, insight, and freedom. This choice shapes your character and your destiny. Embrace fear as a teacher rather than an enemy. Learn what it reveals about your values and desires. Use its lessons to guide your growth and decisions. This respectful relationship with fear empowers you to live fully and fearlessly. Facing fear is a transformative act of self-respect. It honors your potential and affirms your commitment to your growth. It frees you from the chains of avoidance and opens your path to courage, resilience, and fulfillment. Choose this path daily and watch your life expand beyond limitations once set by fear. Chapter 19. Invest in skills that make you independent. Investing in skills that foster independence is one of the most valuable decisions you can make in life. Independence creates freedom and confidence, allowing you to navigate challenges and opportunities on your own terms. Building practical skills that reduce reliance on others empowers you to take control of your destiny. This investment pays dividends over time by increasing your self-sufficiency and resilience in an unpredictable world. The first step toward independence is identifying skills that provide direct and immediate value. These are skills that help you solve everyday problems, manage your resources wisely, and make informed decisions. Financial literacy, basic home repairs, cooking, communication, and critical thinking are examples of such skills. Mastering these areas equips you to handle life's demands without unnecessary dependence on others. This autonomy reduces stress and increases your ability to respond effectively to change. Developing skills requires focused effort and consistent practice. It is not enough to simply learn theoretically. You must apply knowledge regularly to build confidence and competence. Setting specific goals for skill acquisition helps maintain motivation and track progress. Break complex skills into smaller, manageable parts and practice them repeatedly. This disciplined approach accelerates mastery and reinforces your sense of independence. Skill investment also means embracing a growth mindset. Accept that learning new abilities can be challenging and that mistakes are part of the process. Viewing setbacks as opportunities to improve rather than failures keeps you engaged and persistent. This mindset encourages lifelong learning, which is essential for maintaining independence in a rapidly evolving world. Your adaptability depends on your willingness to continuously update and expand your skill set. Prioritize skills that align with your personal goals and circumstances. If financial security is a priority, focus on budgeting, saving, investing, and understanding credit. If physical health matters most, develop skills in nutrition, exercise, and self-care. Tailoring your learning to your unique needs ensures your efforts produce meaningful and practical results. This personalized approach increases the likelihood that your skills will empower your independence now and in the future. Investing in communication skills is crucial for independence. Clear and confident communication helps you advocate for yourself, negotiate effectively, and build strong relationships. These abilities reduce misunderstandings and increase your influence in personal and professional settings. Communication skills open doors to opportunities and support networks that further your independence. Practicing active listening, assertiveness, and empathy enhances these skills and deepens your connections. Technology skills are increasingly important for independence. In a digital world, understanding how to use essential tools, manage online security, and access information safely expands your ability to work, learn, and connect without reliance on others. Digital literacy reduces vulnerability and increases efficiency. Staying current with technology ensures you remain capable of navigating modern life's demands independently. Time management is another vital skill for self-sufficiency. Organizing your schedule, setting priorities, and avoiding procrastination enable you to accomplish tasks efficiently. Effective time management reduces stress and creates space for learning and growth. Mastering this skill helps you balance responsibilities and pursue personal interests without feeling overwhelmed. This balance is foundational to living an independent and fulfilling life. Financial independence is a cornerstone of overall self-reliance. Learning how to manage money wisely protects you from economic instability and empowers your choices. Understanding income, expenses, debts, and investments gives you control over your financial future. Building savings and emergency funds provides security that frees you from dependence on others during crises. Financial independence allows you to pursue opportunities aligned with your values rather than immediate necessity. Problem-solving skills enhance your ability to handle unexpected situations independently. Developing critical thinking, creativity, and resourcefulness equips you to find solutions without external help. These skills improve decision-making and reduce anxiety when facing challenges. Practicing problem-solving in everyday situations builds confidence and prepares you for more complex issues. Independence grows as you trust your judgment and capabilities. Self-care skills support your physical and mental well-being, essential for sustaining independence. Knowing how to maintain health through nutrition, exercise, sleep, and stress management ensures you can care for yourself without excessive reliance on others. Mental health skills, including mindfulness and emotional regulation, increase resilience and improve decision-making. Prioritizing self-care fosters a stable foundation from which independence can flourish. Building independence through skill investment requires a commitment to ongoing learning. Life's demands change, and new skills become necessary. Regularly assess your abilities and seek opportunities to learn and grow. This proactive approach prevents stagnation and keeps you prepared for future challenges. A lifelong learner embraces change and views skill development as a continuous journey rather than a one-time goal. Seek resources and mentors to support your skill acquisition. Books, courses, workshops, and online platforms offer valuable knowledge and practice opportunities. Mentors provide guidance, feedback, and encouragement, accelerating your growth. Surrounding yourself with supportive people who value independence strengthens your resolve and provides practical assistance when needed. Avoid waiting for perfect conditions or external motivation to start investing in skills. Taking small, consistent steps today builds momentum and creates lasting habits. Progress compounds over time, and each new skill contributes to a broader foundation of independence. Patience and persistence are key to sustaining your efforts and achieving meaningful results. Embrace challenges as opportunities to expand your independence. Facing difficult tasks or unfamiliar situations stretches your abilities and increases your confidence. Each success builds on the last, creating a positive cycle of growth and self-reliance. Viewing challenges as growth opportunities transforms obstacles into stepping stones toward freedom. Celebrate your progress regularly. Acknowledge the skills you have acquired and the independence you have gained. Recognition reinforces your motivation and commitment. Reflecting on your journey highlights how far you have come and inspires continued effort. This positive reinforcement strengthens your identity as a capable and independent person. Independence, through skill investment, leads to greater freedom in your choices. You can pursue passions, career changes, or personal goals with less fear and more confidence. This freedom enhances your quality of life and aligns your daily actions with your values. Independence creates space for creativity, fulfillment, and meaningful contribution to others. Remember that independence is not isolation. Building skills to support yourself empowers collaboration rather than dependence. When you are self-sufficient, you engage in relationships and communities from a place of strength and generosity. Independence enhances your ability to give and receive support authentically. Make investing in skills that create independence a priority. Commit time and energy to learning, practicing, and applying these abilities. Your efforts will pay off by giving you control over your life, reducing stress and opening new possibilities. This investment is one of the most practical and empowering choices you can make. By focusing on skills that make you independent now, you lay a foundation for lifelong self-reliance and growth. This foundation supports you through life's uncertainties and enables you to live with confidence and purpose. The freedom that comes from independence allows you to shape your life according to your vision and values. Choose to invest in yourself today and unlock your full potential. Chapter 20. Review your life weekly and adjust with purpose. Taking time each week to review your life is a powerful habit that fuels intentional living and meaningful progress. Life moves quickly, and without regular reflection, it's easy to drift through days without realizing whether you are truly moving toward your goals or values. Weekly reviews provide clarity, focus, and motivation to adjust your path with purpose. This practice is an opportunity to pause, assess, and realign so that your actions consistently support the life you want to build. A weekly review is not about judgment or self-criticism. Instead, it's a deliberate and compassionate check-in with yourself. It involves looking honestly at what you accomplished, what challenges you faced, and where you can improve. This honest reflection creates a feedback loop that enhances self-awareness and drives continuous growth. Through this process, you become more aware of your patterns and make better decisions based on real data rather than assumptions or emotions. The first step in a weekly review is gathering the facts. Collect information on your key activities, habits, goals, and feelings throughout the week. This may include reviewing your calendar, journals, to-do lists, or habit trackers. Organizing this information allows you to see what you focused on and where your energy went. It also reveals areas where you got distracted or sidetracked. With a clear picture, you can start evaluating what worked well and what didn't. Next, consider your progress toward your most important goals. Are you moving forward or standing still? Break down your goals into specific actions and evaluate whether you completed them. If not, explore why. Understanding obstacles or patterns that slowed you down is critical to making effective adjustments. This step helps you maintain accountability yourself and ensures your efforts align with your priorities. It's equally important to celebrate successes and strengths. Recognizing what you did well builds motivation and confidence. Even small wins contribute to momentum and encourage you to keep going. Celebrations remind you that growth is a journey with ups and downs, and every step forward matters. This positive reinforcement nurtures a resilient mindset that views challenges as temporary and progress as inevitable. During your review, reflect on your emotions and energy levels. How did you feel during different activities or interactions? What drained you and what energized you? This awareness helps you understand how your choices affect your well-being and productivity. It also guides you to prioritize activities that support your energy and happiness. Managing your emotional and physical state is essential for sustained performance and satisfaction. After reflection, create a clear plan for the upcoming week. Set specific, realistic goals and outline the steps you will take. Prioritize tasks that align with your values and long-term vision. This planning gives your week structure and intention, reducing stress and overwhelm. When you have a roadmap, it's easier to stay focused and avoid distractions. Your plan becomes a commitment to yourself and your growth. Adjustments are a natural part of the process. If something isn't working, change it. This might mean shifting priorities, adopting new habits, or letting go of unproductive commitments. Flexibility and willingness to adapt keep you aligned with your evolving needs and circumstances. The goal is continuous improvement, not perfection. Embrace experimentation and learning through trial and error. Weekly reviews improve decision-making by providing clarity and perspective. Instead of reacting impulsively, you respond thoughtfully based on reflection. This habit strengthens your ability to make intentional choices that support your well-being and goals. Over time, this disciplined approach transforms your life from one of reactivity to one of purpose-driven action. Make your weekly review a consistent ritual. Choose a specific day and time that works best for you and stick to it. Creating a routine builds discipline and ensures this important practice doesn't get overlooked. Treat it as a valuable appointment with yourself that supports your growth and happiness. Consistency increases the effectiveness of your reviews and deepens your self-knowledge. Keep your review process simple and focused. Avoid overcomplicating it with excessive data or analysis. Use tools that suit your style, whether a journal, app, or checklist. The key is to make it sustainable and enjoyable so that you look forward to it rather than dread it. This positive attitude enhances the quality of your reflection and planning. Incorporate questions that prompt meaningful insight during your review. Ask what you learned, what you would do differently, and what you are grateful for. These questions encourage deeper thinking and help you identify lessons that fuel growth. They also cultivate gratitude and a positive mindset, which balance honesty with kindness toward yourself. Use your weekly reviews to reconnect with your core values and purpose. Check whether your actions align with what truly matters to you. If not, explore how to bring your daily life closer to your authentic self. This alignment increases fulfillment and motivation, making your efforts feel meaningful rather than burdensome. Living according to your values is a foundation for lasting happiness. Sharing your review process with a trusted friend, coach, or mentor can enhance accountability and insight. External perspectives offer feedback and encouragement that deepen your understanding. Discussing your reflections also builds connection and support, which are vital for sustained growth. You don't have to do this alone. Collaboration enriches the journey. Reviewing your setbacks with curiosity rather than blame fosters resilience. Every challenge is an opportunity to learn and improve. Shifting your mindset in this way reduces fear of failure and encourages bold action. This mindset creates a safe space for experimentation and innovation in your personal growth. As you practice weekly reviews, you develop a stronger sense of control over your life. You become the driver of your journey rather than a passenger. This empowerment enhances confidence and reduces anxiety about the future. You trust yourself to navigate challenges and seize opportunities. In time, weekly reviews become a habit of self-leadership. You learn to guide your actions and decisions with wisdom and intentionality. This leadership applies to all areas of life, from work to relationships to health. Developing this skill creates a foundation for continuous personal and professional growth. Remember that life is dynamic, and your plans will evolve. Weekly reviews help you stay flexible and responsive to change without losing sight of your goals. This balance of stability and adaptability supports long-term success and satisfaction. You build a life that is both purposeful and resilient. The commitment to review your life weekly is a commitment to yourself and your future. It honors your desire for growth, clarity, and fulfillment. By dedicating this time regularly, you build a habit that shapes your life trajectory positively. This simple practice becomes a cornerstone of your self-improvement journey. Approach each weekly review with honesty, kindness, and curiosity. These qualities create a supportive environment for deep reflection and meaningful adjustment. They nurture a positive relationship with yourself that encourages lifelong growth and well-being. This compassionate approach makes reviewing your life a rewarding and transformative experience. In conclusion, reviewing your life weekly and adjusting with purpose is a powerful tool for intentional living. It creates space for clarity, learning, and alignment with your deepest values. This habit strengthens your ability to lead yourself effectively and build a fulfilling life. Making this practice a priority unlocks ongoing growth and success. The time you invest in reflection and planning returns multiplied through improved decisions and purposeful action. Commit to this weekly ritual and watch your life transform with clarity and direction.